To Pod and Long. I'm your host, Ryan. It's great to have you with us again. It's the Pod and Long, boys. We're back. I am here with one of my co-hosts. It is the Word of Drew.
I have so many thoughts about men's and women's USA basketball that we just don't have time for.
We'll add it in at the end. We'll CGI in it at the end. We're also here with Mr. Megastar Mark.
Yes, season 3, chock full of season 3 goodness. That's right.
Ooh, I like what you did there. Synergy. We're also here with Mr. Mike.
This week, on a very special McConkey, Dad McConkey goes to a local children's hospital to visit J.J. McCarthy to help him get his wrist back after Blue Bloods.
Which controller will McConkey be getting?
Oh, no.
He is number 2. Wait, no. McConkey's number 1. He's Mario.
McCarthy's 1. What is this newfangled thing?
Definitely a Mad Catz controller.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I don't like the Vigis games.
We are back.
Mm-hmm.
We're back in the rotation here. We have a lot of off-season stuff to do, but we're gonna do our tier list again. We're gonna put the people in the diddly poos and the sad boys.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want. We also will have a stripe spiral, which is something I'm looking forward to because I want to know what I need to look out for this season in college football.
Liberty.
Definitely Liberty.
By the way, teaser ahead, stat of the century coming in the stripe spiral.
What?
I told you guys previously.
Wonderful.
Stat of the century.
My favorite sports information factoid in easily my adult life.
Wow. Holy shit.
I love this. Well, I got some big wide receiver news. Just breaking. It's finally happened.
Uh-oh.
Took a long time, but it finally happened. Martavius Bryant is on the Commanders. I know you're all waiting.
I saw that news this morning, and I had to remind myself he was still in the league. I was like, I haven't thought of that guy in forever.
He wasn't in the league.
He wasn't in the league.
No.
He was playing fan-controlled football.
Yeah.
He's back, guys. Are you excited? He's really going to make a difference for the Commanders. Also, top news, wide receiver. Tavon Austin retired.
Oh, he retired as a Bill. That was the last team he played for.
He's retired.
Is he the last relevant player from West Virginia? He might be.
The only memory I have of Tavon Austin is he had the best college football highlight reel I've ever seen on YouTube.
Yeah,
like
easily.
When I started watching like YouTube for those things, like Tavon Austin was the reason. He was so fucking good his senior year.
Yes.
There was a game that popped up on that NFL Throwback channel, and it was West Virginia versus somebody. I forget who it was. Baylor, maybe?
True. Geno Smith.
And it was Geno throwing to Tavon Austin, and he threw like 8 touchdowns.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I stand by what I said.
He's a starting quarterback. He's somewhat relevant.
I thought
so is Gardner Minshew going to be? What are we talking about here?
Oh, we'll get to him in a minute. It's the summer of holdouts and trade requests, though. None of you better ask for another contract, please. Please don't ask me for.
That's what happened to Kelly Grant.
Wait. You guys are getting paid?
No.
I'm sure we'll dig into this later. Can we talk about CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys for just a second?
Sure.
Please.
It finally clicked in my head. Like the whole CeeDee Lamb holdout thing. And Jerry Jones saying he has no urgency to do this. Like, on the same day that the Cowboys are the first franchise in any sport in history to pass $10 billion in valuation, like, him worrying about whatever the comparative 75 cents to pay CeeDee Lamb is sort of the rich people inverse of when Old Dirty Bastard picked up his welfare check in a limo. Like, that's the same parallel we're talking about here.
We've hit on this so many times in this show that the Cowboys just want to exist. They want to do that thing what they always do, which is beat up on the shit teams, get to the playoffs, get that home playoff game, because that's some revenue, and then lose. And that's all they want. That's all Jerry wants every single year, year in and year out.
Jerry wants to win a Super Bowl to prove that it wasn't all Jimmy Johnson.
I know.
But he's also too cheap to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he won one with Barry Switzer, so he figures, what the hell? Anybody can bring a
playing with house money.
Coach the Cowboys to a Super Bowl.
I'm playing with house money here.
That's also because who built that team?
I know.
Jerry.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
CeeDee Lamb just writing LOL to the news story too made me laugh. Like,
this offseason is going to be great for Dallas. I know we haven't even gone through this season, but Dak is going to leave. CD is definitely getting the fuck out of there.
McCarthy's going to get fired.
I can't believe he's still there.
Right.
That franchise
Belichick's going to end up there.
Jerry is entirely too wrapped up in the idea that it is a privilege to play for the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brandon Ayuk is who I was joking around about earlier. He's requested a trade, not requested a trade, wants a contract, hold in, hold out, whatever you want to call it. He's been causing a lot of problems. We talk about it every single day on the sports media. Every single day someone talks about it. He's vetoed several trades. One to Cleveland, which I thought was hilarious when
yeah, right.
when
that is such a bad GM move.
Actually,
you want to get traded?
That would have been good. He said no, which it makes a lot of sense. And the Patriots, he said no to the Patriots.
No, I mean,
good for him. I would have.
Yeah, right.
Why would you want to go there?
Yeah.
The Steelers seem to be the front runner right now, but we'll see what happens.
Let's think about nickels.
Let's think about this, though. Let's think about this. So the Niners have $50 million in cap space this year and a shit ton more next year. They can afford him. The fact that they're not doing it, I think he's a head case. I don't think they want him in that locker room. I think they're willing to let him go addition by subtraction. I think they can replace him. If you have that much money and you're not committing it to him, I don't think they want him. I think there's a lot of story here we don't know about in terms of how he acts in the locker room.
Well, they have to pay Brock at some point here, which Drew, you've been talking about for years. You literally did like the evil.
One of these days, I'm going to put Mike on the spot to the point where he can't wiggle out of it, and I'm going to say, "How much Otto Porter money are you going to give to Brock Purdy?"
We need a bell for every
NBA reference.
But pay him how much? Mm-hmm. Does he deserve a Jordan Love contract?
Oh.
Does he?
I think more.
Someday we're gonna find out.
Well, hold on. Does he deserve that number versus does he deserve it more than Jordan Love? Might be two different questions.
Yeah,
that's right.
He does deserve it more than Jordan Love.
And I love. I'm a Jordan Love defender. You guys know.
Me too.
But
I came on here after they played that playoff game against Green Bay last year, and I said I am terrified of Jordan Love in the future. Mm-hmm. That dude can ball.
Yep.
But Brock Purdy should be making more money than him right now.
He should. I agree.
And Jordan Love has become sort of the poster child for the theme of the offseason for me, which is football players getting paid like basketball players. Like, I don't understand. I will admit I do not understand all the economics of the NFL salary cap and how it works and what percentages you need to pay out. But, you're given, and I'm a defender of Jordan Love. You guys know this. Drew's Packers. It was the theme of last season.
It was.
But like $50 whatever million to a dude who has won what exactly?
Yeah.
Right. And I thought the same, like, okay, let's decide that, Amon-Ra St. Brown is worth $35 million a year for what exactly? Like,
here's why I think Jordan Love is an exception to what you're saying. He's the only quarterback, and the Packers are the only organization that will draft a guy and have him sit for 3 years. Like,
I understand. There's a disconnect between that and $50+ million.
I'm getting to it. He hasn't had the time on the field to necessarily show everything he can do. They've developed him. They've seen him in practice. They see, like, I'm not saying it's the smartest decision in the world, but I can kind of understand it from the Packers' perspective of, we are basically a small market team that is not attractive to any. They're like Bills West. Like, they're not a super attractive free agency destination.
Mm-hmm.
You get the guy in the room who obviously is probably one of the 12 best dudes in the league at the position right now. You have to pay the man. You don't have an option.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Teddy KGB. Pay that.
I
man.
mean, the Bills
Pay that man his money.
splash the pot. The Bills lured
I don't care. I love
Von
that
Miller
movie.
in.
It's so
They got
great.
Von Miller.
Yeah, great.
I'm
And he
sorry.
took a pay cut to stay there. He must
He
love
did.
him some
He's
Applebee's.
paid $1.3 million. That's all he's getting paid. He took
Wow.
a $15 million pay cut to not get cut.
Buys a lot of Applebee's.
Yeah,
1.3 million is roughly equivalent to all property value in Buffalo.
yeah, absolutely. He might as well be the king of Hamburg at this point.
Oh boy.
I want to point out everybody's getting paid, unless you're a filthy, disgusting, subhuman running back. Then you're garbage. Get out of here. You don't get anything.
Right.
But everybody else getting paid this offseason.
Of course.
Hey,
What
when
about-
you're running 4 running backs deep in Middle Tennessee, you don't have to worry about.
You don't need it. You got a rotation.
Got a whole stable of Peyton Hillises.
What about Hassan Reddick making big news as of today?
That's weird.
This is a strange. I don't.
Very
Getting
weird.
getting traded from the Eagles to the Jets, then requesting a trade before he even does anything.
I think
Jets.
both sides are equally stupid. I think it's literally
Yes.
50-50 who's to blame here. So,
Yeah,
you know.
it's. I don't know. I can't decide what seems more likely, that like the Jets never followed through on some intent to redo his deal, although apparently they offered him a deal, but nobody knows what the terms of that deal were, or that he didn't make it clear to the Jets that he wanted a new deal upon being traded.
I think he changed his mind. Why go through the physical? Why take that physical if you
Right.
didn't think there was
If you
going
don't
to be a
intend to
new
show up.
contract on the other side? Like,
Unless
just
if
don't
he-
show up.
Unless if he didn't take the physical, then the trade gets nullified and he's no better off than he started. I don't
Okay,
know.
well, then I find somebody else who can give me that contract. If he didn't think that contract was coming, why take the fucking physical? I
yeah.
think he thought it was, wanted more money, and changed his mind. I think they offer. I believe them when they say they offered him a contract.
Yeah,
I
I
think
do
he
too.
thought he was going to take it, and then he said, "You know what? Let's do better." And now we're here. So
What a mess, Jets.
yeah.
Here we go again.
My favorite part of the Jets is how already the receivers are getting lippy with Poochie.
We've seen
Wow.
several arguments.
You're supposed to zig and you're supposed to zag. Well, how about you come to practice, bro?
Right.
Like, they are not taking any of his old man shit. They don't care.
Fuck
Yeah.
your Indiana Jones digging through the sand in Egypt quest that you went
My
on. Like,
God. What's the dumbest bullshit place you can go visit?
Poochie get a Poochie.
You can go to the cryogenic center and frostbite the bottoms of your feet before
Yes,
leaving the
that's
team
true.
in a huff.
Yes.
Mm.
Been there.
Mhm.
Ah.
As one does.
Oh my gosh. Who else is holding out? Jamar Chase didn't show up for practice today. Mike Brown said there's no way we're doing that this year.
Yep.
They can't afford it.
Oh, they don't have any money.
How are they
That's-
going to pay him?
No.
I saw. Speaking of being paid, I saw the Dolphins, who I think wisely paid Tua. I like that move.
Wow,
I don't
okay.
Like you. I don't like giving money to Tyreek again because
No.
that's just going to enable him to continue whatever lifestyle that man decides to lead.
It's
right?
more of a restructuring kind of a thing, though. It's not as bad as like the Tua money.
So next year, the Saints are the second worst salary cap team in the NFL, as they
How is
always
that even-
are. They
How is that
almost
even possible?
always are. Yeah, at minus 61 million as it stands today. Obviously, that will change when the cap increases. The Dolphins are $93 million over the cap next year,
And they
Because
lost
of
a
all
bunch
that.
of stuff.
and they lost their entire defense,
Yeah, I was going
and
to
they
say
replaced
Terrence
it with
Wilkins playing
crippled
for the
old
Raiders.
guys. Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Trent Williams, you worried about him, Mike? Trent Williams holding out?
No.
Okay. He'll be back, you
They'll pay
think?
him. They'll pay him, and B, this is just like, I'm old and I don't want to do training camp.
I don't want to go to training camp.
100%.
The old Michael
I'll be
Strahan.
Yes, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. The
I'm-
old
I'm
Michael
old.
Strahan.
Michael Strahan
He's like, look,
invented that trick.
I'm Trent
Yeah.
Williams. Fuck you. I don't
Yeah.
need training camp.
Right.
I'm in shape. I want to go play some golf. Let me know when y'all are ready.
The third, like after that third preseason, he's going to get that contract. So it's going to be
So,
fun.
yeah, right before everything starts.
Once again, they
Okay.
have money. They like Trent. Trent seems like a
Yes.
good person. So I mean, like it's not like they can't do it.
We're going to pay him.
It'll happen. Okay. That means we're ready for
You got to
The tier list.
Oh, I love the tier list.
We're ready for the tier list. Before we begin, do you want to change any of these categories? This is what it was last year. It was Super Bowl, then playoffs, which Drew had to make sure we had the right number of playoff teams. Future bright, but not
These
yet.
things matter, damn it.
Things matter. Sad boys, and then diddly poo.
I think the middle future bright but not yet could be reworded.
What do you want to call
To me,
it?
that future bright but not yet tier is just the meh tier. Like,
Mm.
there's a shitload of meh teams.
We call it the Jeff Fisher.
Okay.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah,
It's the
right.
Fisher.
A feisty but not actually very good team.
8-8.
The feisty Fishers. Right
Can't
there.
go 8-8 anymore.
All right, that could be reworded.
Can't go 8-8 anymore. Right. You're right. There's an extra game.
Stupid.
There's an extra game. Okay.
Stupid.
It is.
I know.
Anyway.
Stupid Jeff
Wait
Fisher.
till the stripe spiral and we start talking about how they implemented a 2-minute warning.
Yeah,
We
right.
have a 2-minute warning now. What
When I
the
was
fuck?
playing the college game, like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly.
I know.
What,
Me
you
All
too.
right.
throw Madden? You
Save
reported this in?
Save
Okay.
it. There's a lot to get to later.
Okay. All right. We're going to start the NFC East with the Cowboys.
Oh,
They went all in, if you remember.
yes.
They decided to go all in
And sign a long snapper. That was all they did.
by bringing back Ezekiel Elliott and getting his long snapper in and not firing Mark McCarthy. So they were all in. Obviously- Obviously,
Yeah, Fisher
see,
passed.
Here's the,
are they
here's the
Jeff
problem.
Fishers or are they playoffs?
Here's the problem. Like, they're a playoff team, but I don't want to call it. Like, I don't want to reward them for bad behavior.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, is this like how we do? I mean, again, I do feel pretty meh about them, and I do feel pretty
Yes.
Jeff Fisher about it. So
Yes.
maybe throw them in that middle tier. They're going to make the playoffs, but it's going to be a sad one, game exit
they're
again.
going to go one and done.
Yeah, right.
Again.
Yep.
So they're
I
they're in
think
the
they're
playoffs
Jeff
right
Fisher.
now, but they're Jeff
Well,
Fishers.
Here's my this is my if this is amenable to all parties.
Okay.
Put them in the playoffs for now, and then if it turns out we have too many playoff teams, they're the
We can
first
Jeff
one that
Fisher
gets
them.
kicked down. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
We can Jeff Fisher them out of there. Okay. I don't know if there's much to say here. This is like the exact same
Not that
team.
we haven't already said.
We've literally
Yeah,
talked about this
right.
for the full 3 seasons we've been doing this.
Yeah,
It's the
right.
exact same story.
And
It's
they're
the
going to
same
be
story,
just-
same team.
They're going to be just good enough to screw themselves out of all the good college quarterbacks.
Yes. And there's going to be a point in this season where everybody's talking about them in the Super Bowl because it happens every single year.
They're going to be 4-1 or some
Yep,
shit.
you got
And-
Hmm.
Won't happen.
They're kind of boring though to me.
They
Like
are.
as far as like storylines and like
Yeah.
they're
They
boring.
become boring.
Blew
Yeah.
my mind
You know
when
what
the
it is?
Bills.
It's the late seasons of MASH when Alan Alda was directing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same damn boring ass plot lines, slightly repackaged.
When the Bills were looking to trade Stephon Diggs, why didn't the Cowboys make a run at that? With
No
Trayvon
idea.
already there. Like, you figure that's an easy
They
PR move. And they got him for a second rounder. Like, you
Yeah.
tell me you wouldn't give up a second rounder for him?
Because
Come
they
on.
don't want to pay CD Lamb. They're not going to take
They
on the
can't
Diggs
pay,
deal.
Yeah.
They can't pay either one, or they don't want to pay. I don't understand why they don't want to pay CeeDee Lamb. It doesn't make any sense.
He's like a good guy. There's
He's
no
good.
drama with this dude other than when you don't pay him what he deserves.
He's
Like-
good. Why are you not paying CeeDee Lamb? If you're going to pay anybody, you pay CeeDee Lamb.
All
And
that charity,
you pay Micah Parsons. Why are you not paying these guys?
all that
in
charity work
reference-
you do is bitch work. That's what it is, CD.
In reference to what I said earlier, hey, dirty, baby, I got your money.
No. All right. The New York Football Giants.
Ugh.
Oh,
Hey.
really? Oh.
They lost. Saquon Barkley left
Oh,
in
yeah.
a bizarre. Boy, has anyone ever been on like a Hard Knocks and really looked as stupid as the New York
my
Giants
God.
did
That
in
whole
their
organization.
version of Hard Knocks? Why would you sign up for that? Here's our idiot GM being an idiot for 90 minutes.
Let's ask our kids who we should draft. That's a good idea. Let's air that shit. That's
Oh
that's
my
smart.
god,
Yep. Diddly poo.
so bad.
So
They
good.
did. They traded for Brian Burns, which hurts my soul deeply. And they picked up Neighbors in the draft,
Who's hurt
who
already.
everyone
He's
thinks is
already
good,
hurt.
but he is hurt and he wants to fight the entire NFL.
Yeah.
So that might be a problem. And Daniel Jones has a beard now.
Campbell and Graham.
Yep.
Daniel Jones has a beard now, so he might be good.
And our boy
Spock.
slimmed down a little bit. You know,
Dayball.
Yeah, he's looking good.
Taking the Ozempic. What the
Right.
hell?
He switched to light beer at bar. So,
He's just Natty Light.
yeah, right.
He's Natty Light.
He needed that. Holy shit. He was gonna die.
Is this truly a diddly poo team? Like when I think of the absolute bottom of the barrel, I don't know that the Giants qualify.
Oh, I would say they're bottom 5.
You think they're more of a sad boy?
Maybe, I don't know. Like, granted,
You-
the Burns signing solves a problem they didn't have.
No pass rush or
Yeah,
defense
right.
of any kind.
Like, hey, our quarterback can't play when he's healthy, and right now he's not healthy, and we have no weapons, and we lost our running back. But let's go get a pass rusher. I don't know. You guys could convince me they're in the diddly poo tier. I don't think of them as being that awful, but they might well be. They picked whatever the hell it was, 6 overall.
So before I came
6
in,
and 11, Drew.
before I yeah, 6-11. I did pick my bottom 5 teams, and they are one of my bottom 5
Okay,
teams. So
Wow.
I'm not going to fight you that hard on
You
it.
think they're a pooer?
I think they're a pooer. I
They
think,
lost to
unfortunately,
Jets.
think this is the end of Dayball too. By the way, as the head coach.
All right. Well, we're gonna put them in. We will reevaluate as we go, of course. But let's put the Giants in diddly poo. Oh boy.
By the way, Intact Specialty Solutions getting a lot of free advertising right now.
I love these guys. You know, I need solutions for my
They actually
specialty.
pay us, Drew, I don't know if you knew this, $100 million.
$100 million a minute.
Right.
You
Oh,
sons
oh,
of, you've
it's
been
back.
holding out on me.
Yeah.
Click on that link, guys. All right. The the Eagles
Ooh, they're a tough-
implosion or return
Yeah.
to form.
You know, I said it last year, and I said it before the Niners played that game. I predicted the Eagles would poop the bed,
You did.
and they did.
They did
And
poop
I
the
think
bed.
the Eagles are going to poop the bed again this season. They're
Yeah,
still
but, like,
going
where
to
do you put
potentially
them
win
here?
that division. I
Wow.
would say they are still. I think they're between playoffs and Fisher for me.
The problem is based on our own standings. Like, I think they're going to implode, but I also think they're still better than Dallas.
Yeah.
Wow, really? You
I
don't
they're
think?
better than that.
What about the
think they have
Sirianni?
more- I think they have more talent than Dallas.
They do,
Yes.
but that doesn't mean they're going to be good.
Yeah,
No.
the Sirianni Hurts thing is. I love how they had this whole thing about like they had this rift at the end of the season, right, which caused the collapse. And then we start the season, and they're both still there. It's like, all right, well, nothing got solved. So
They never made amends too.
Right.
Like the story just came out again. Like they have a rift, guys. Like they didn't work. They didn't go to couples therapy in the off season to fix this.
it's like, all right, I guess we're doing this again. So,
If
Damn it, you're still here.
mhm.
at what point does Sirianni get fired in season?
In season, I don't think.
What
I don't
has
think
to
in
happen?
season.
What has to
When's
happen?
their bye? When's their bye?
Yeah, like if it's a late buy and they don't win a game, that's
Yeah,
Okay, so he's
think
not getting fired.
They would have to start off like and more than one hand.
right.
For this to be
Yeah, I'd
even
say like
discussed.
0-5, 0-6.
They got
0-5, 0-6.
I just don't think the Eagles are that kind of team that would do that in the mid-year.
I think this is still a playoff team on paper. Barkley, I think, adds a lot to this team. So
He's a great player. Yeah.
I'd say playoffs. I'd put him in.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Mhm.
This is one of
Not
those
Super
things,
Bowl, though. I
though.
would not put him in that
Well,
Super Bowl tier.
Here's the thing, though. Here's their regular season: Green Bay, Atlanta, Saints, Bucks. Then they have a bye week 5,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and then it's Cleveland, the Giants, Cincy.
Oh my God.
They don't play Dallas till week 10.
So they could start off hot again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Possibly.
they really the only good teams are going to play during the year. They play the Packers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The Bengals. I mean,
NFC
Bengals
South is going to be
Bengals are
terrible.
good.
The Bengals
Yeah,
are going to
no.
be good. Dallas potentially, the Rams potentially, Baltimore, and then they play Carolina, Pittsburgh, and Washington. Like they've got a good schedule.
Yeah.
Like that's not bad. They play division and the NFC South a bunch, and this NFC South is not good.
What are you talking about?
Just saying. Just saying.
I have this feeling like the implosion, like I don't know which team to, maybe like the Vikings last year, where it's like, oh my god,
Oh,
they lost like a stupid game in the last minute several times, and their record's not actually that good.
They lose like Cleveland.
Could be a problem.
They lose to Cleveland week 6. Something bad's going to happen.
We're gonna see. Okay, well, they have enough talent to be a playoff team, so I don't disagree with that. But we'll see with the coaching staff there. Okay, that means
the division has to go to the playoffs.
We're moving on to the Commanders.
Mark's Commanders.
Huh?
Mark's Commanders.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's right. That's right. They're my adopted boys this year.
Mark's Commanders.
Really like this defense. I think Jaden Daniels, is going to surprise a lot of people. They still don't have great wide receivers or running backs, and the O-line is young. Still not playoffs, but I put him in Jeff Fisher. Before you rename this, I felt they were very good in that future is bright area, but if that's what we renamed it, I'd put him in Jeff Fisher. But I have high hopes for my Commanders.
By the way, that is the most Bills fan thing you could have done. Adopt a second franchise and then proclaim that they're going to go 9-8.
A mid. You adopted a mid.
Yes. But 9-8 might get the playoffs in the NFC. I don't know.
Maybe.
If people didn't adopt mids, Buffalo wouldn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you go. Dan Quinn. We need to take a minute and celebrate the fact that Cliff Kingsbury is back in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
He's back, baby. That one-way ticket to Thailand.
There's a lot of excitement about this team, baby. A lot of excitement.
The Joker painting. We're back. We're back.
Larry Izzo is the special teams coordinator. We all love Larry Izzo.
Sure. Of course we love him.
Wait. I didn't hear about the Joker painting.
Oh, God.
Oh, you don't know about the Joker painting?
I don't.
All right. So, Mike, I got to tell you this, the way it was phrased. So, Killer Greg was telling us about this, right? And I guess it was on Hard Knocks.
In-season Hard Knocks, yeah.
With the Cardinals, right? When Kingsbury was their coach. He said, according to, so he had this giant mansion, and he had 2 paintings up on his wall. And that's it. No other decoration other than 2 paintings. One of them was a lion, right? It was like a lion with a crown or something like that. And the other one is just a painting of the Joker. And Greg stops, and I go, which version of the Joker? He just stops. He goes, you know which version of the Joker.
You know.
You know which one.
You know which one it is.
He said that was the only decorations in his house with those 2 paintings.
The giant painting of the Joker.
Look. I love Cesar Romero as much as the next guy.
I would give him so much credit if it was Cesar
That
Romero.
would be great if he had that.
You know which Joker.
You know. Oh, my God. Cesar Romero.
So I'll let you guys decide where you're going to put my Commanders, but
Mark's
just know
Commanders.
I got them at least 17-0, bare minimum.
Austin Eckler is there now. They have
Yes!
several aging defenders. I'm worried about this defense, even though I like Dan
I love
Quinn.
this defense.
You love them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like the secondary. I like what they brought in. I like Wagner as a kind of general of that defense. He still had a good year last year.
Yeah. Okay.
I personally still have them as sad boys, but in deference to Mark and in deference to their no longer racist ownership,
Yeah.
I am willing to bump them to Jeff Fisher.
What?
There's positivity. Before you change this, I feel like they were perfect in that tier.
They actually did fit, yes, because of Jaden.
I was
Yes.
going to say, I think if anyone benefits from the train wreck in that division, it's going to be Washington.
Mm-hmm.
If the Eagles collapse and Dallas does what Dallas does, Washington has there's a pathway for them. It's not an easy one. It's some things got to happen. But I think Mark's right. I think there's a path.
And if they were in the AFC, I wouldn't put them even close to the playoffs. But I mean, they are in we saw what happened to those wild card teams in the NFC last year. I think they have at least a realistic shot at getting in. Especially if nobody knows about Jaden Daniels. Like there's always one rookie who does outperform. Maybe it's him.
It could be. It could be. That's the NFC East. Let's move on.
Caleb's dead. It's gonna be so sad. Hey, Caleb, do you want to come to Chicago?
Not really, but I will.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you enjoy getting sacked every time you throw. Here's some life advice you're gonna need to know. the snow. Good thing you got used to losing there at USC. Chicago loves losers. Just look at the Cubbies.
For the White
Caleb's
Sox.
dad is gonna be real sad if it's 3 years of saving Eberflus's ass. To be the top pick would be the meanest trick. With that NIL cash, you can't better be a Bear.
As always, thanks to Chris for that.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Oh, it's time to do the NFC North. We'll start with those Bears. Is Caleb's dad going to be so sad, or are they actually any good? They did some moves. They have Keenan Allen. They drafted Roma Dunze, DeAndre Swift. Their defense was a lot better towards the end of the year when they traded for Sweat. What does that mean for this Bears team? They're on Hard Knocks. Are they getting a bump because of Hard Knocks?
I mean, I'd put him in that middle tier, that Jeff Fisher tier. I think they're conceivably going to make the playoffs, but I also think they're in a really tough division. I like the other teams much better. So,
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make the playoffs.
They're not sad boys anymore.
No,
So-
I don't think so either. I think
definitely
they're
not
a
sad
Fisher
boys.
team, but the problem is I think everybody in that division might be in that playoff Jeff Fisher range, which means somebody's going to get knocked down.
well,
And they do not have a great schedule.
No, and their coach has body doubles.
I mean,
yes.
now
You got a beard now.
He has a beard now and nice hair.
Body
They're going
doubles
to
can
start
grow
off.
beard.
They're going to start off. They could start off relatively hot because they played the AFC South. They played the Titans, the Texans, and the Colts. Literally 1, 2, 3.
Wait, they start. It's Bears Titans week 1. That's a throwaway. Oh my god.
God.
Bears, Titans, Bears, Texans, Bears, Colts. That's weeks 1, 2, 3.
Oh, they're
Then
gonna
they
lose.
play the Rams. Then they play the Panthers. Then they play the Jags. Then they get a bye. Then they play Mark's Commanders.
Mark's Commanders.
Yes.
That's my favorite thing.
The Cardinals, the Patriots, the Pack, and then from week 11 onward, it gets bad. Packers, Vikings, Lions, Niners, Vikings, Lions, Seahawks, Packers.
Ouch.
They have a real downward trajectory built into their schedule.
Oh, no.
It's gonna get real bad.
No. All right. So Jeff
I'd say
Fisher.
sad. I think they're sad boys.
You think they're sad boys?
I want to put them in Jeff Fisher because it seems like they've made the right moves. They're in that potential, but just that back end of their schedule to me they're gonna get sad. They're not there yet, but that's where they're gonna end up.
I mean, they
sad.
they were diddly poo, so maybe just by we can't
They're
jump them
moving up.
too high. Maybe we just
Right.
move them 1 tier up for the time being.
The only thing I'll say is Texans. We saw the Texans go from diddly poo, which
Yeah,
we
you're
thought
right.
they were diddly poo, to the playoffs with CJ Stroud.
That's because their division sucks.
Yeah, that's not going to
The
happen.
NFC
It's-
South is
Commanders are going to be
terrible.
that team who makes that jump. Just
The NFC North is not that division.
Good point.
I admit I don't know what order we're tackling these teams in, but really to me, what tier the Bears go in comes down to how likely do you feel about a complete Vikings collapse.
Oh well, they're already in collapse mode at this point.
high.
And if
Very
that's the
high.
case, if the Bears are better than the Vikings, that might scratch them into the Jeff Fisher territory.
Fair enough.
Very interesting.
Because you know the Vikings are going to be worse than them.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it looks like that. All right, so we're keeping them at sad boys, or we're moving them up.
I would move them up, but if I'm outvoted, leave
All
them where
right,
they are.
Mike, you said
I
sad
would
boy.
I will defer to the group.
Okay, Mark, where do you think? Are they Mark's Bears or are they sad boys?
Them at sad boys just because I like the idea of just going 1 tier up. We had them at diddly poo. They are better than they were last year. Let's
Okay.
go 1 tier and then have the ability to change this later.
We can always revise at the end too.
Yep.
If we were like, oh my God, what do we do?
Yep.
All right, your Lions, they came within, I don't know, 2 or 3 plays from going to the Super Bowl. They were really close. A Brandon Ayuk catch, a weird Gibbs fumble, a couple of 4th down questionable calls. They might have beaten the 49ers, but they did not. They've got some injury problems. They re-signed Goff. I don't know that they got that much better in the offseason. They're not worse, but they're not better. They're playoffs probably, but are they a Super Bowl contender? Because they
I
were
think
pretty
so.
close.
I think so.
Honestly, I see them as a Jeff Fisher team. And
Wow.
I know
Like a
that's
step
going on
back.
a limb, but I just
back.
don't see what made them that good in the first place, and I don't see how they got any better.
They definitely didn't get better.
And they were shockingly healthy at the end of last year. The odds of that happening twice are unlikely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I mean, like, to me, if they didn't get any worse, I would just leave them where they were last year, which was competing for a Super Bowl.
Mm.
We'll let the other two decide, Drew.
I'd say playoffs. Playoffs.
I would also say
Um,
playoffs.
There we go.
Because they also have the benefit of playing the AFC South.
Mm.
But again, there's a couple of tough games in there for them. They got the Niners, and they play the NFC West, and there's the Rams and Niners are good.
Yep.
Seattle's going to be bad. Arizona's going to be still kind of bad. So I think the Lions, I think they're a legit playoff team.
Okay.
I mean, wild card, because again, Green Bay might run away with this division if Jordan Love's, has a good season and plays well. But
Mm.
I still think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team, so I'd say playoffs.
All
I
right.
think, Drew, to your point, though, is like, let's see him do it again.
Right.
Let's see him do it again. Like, I think that's a very good argument to have on this team. They did come out of nowhere. People didn't know how to play them initially. When they kind of figured it out, they did have trouble. So let's see him do it again.
Okay.
But Jared Goff, I can't.
They paid him.
I can't with that.
I know.
They
He's
paid him.
always one step away from like completely ruining himself.
Like, how soon are they going to regret that contract?
Yeah, right.
Soon. I think soon. But I did enjoy the moment where he got the game ball after the one playoff win against the Rams. I'm like, you're good enough for us. Great moment. Like, that was cool. I love that. But I still don't believe that he's the Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Because he's not.
Not yet, Drew.
well,
Not
yeah.
yet. Nick Foles did it.
Whatever. I don't think he's John Elway. I don't think he's going to have some late career resurgence where they finally give him the right team and he's really, really good. I don't see that happening.
Okay. Drew's
Not with that
Packers. Drew's Packers. Here we go. Drew was on this from the first episode
Yes,
last
I was.
season.
I was.
And they lost. They did not look good for like the first 4 or 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
And then all of a sudden it turned into this team has a million weapons. Where did all these guys come from that Aaron Rodgers couldn't throw to?
Sometimes it takes a couple of weeks to kind of, especially with a young team. I think that's exactly what happened to them. It just needed some time to gel, and when they did, they were awesome.
If I may be so bold, I think the Packers I would rate as a playoff team.
Okay.
But I am going to put them in the Super Bowl contending category because 2 teams have to play in the NFC Championship game. and absent the 49ers, what other team do you feel confident putting there at all?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's solid. That's a solid point.
I agree. I'm totally with
I
you.
love this.
I love the
it.
Packers this year. I think that those receivers are only going to get better. Now that they had another year under their belt, I think the defense looks better. I put them in Super Bowl tier.
Wow.
Look,
I love this.
Right.
I love this so much. Drew's Packers, Super Bowl contenders. I don't disagree. I think they could be there.
rarely
Are
right,
they-
Ryan. I got to
are they-
capitalize.
Are they Drew's Packers again this year? Or are we?
They have to be if he thinks they're a Super Bowl contender.
The hat is backwards. The Raiders aren't doing it this year.
It's
The
just
hat
going
is
to be a
backwards.
real sad moment when they lose in the wild card to my Commanders. But I'll let you guys.
I love this whole second team. I need a second or a third team, maybe 4. All right, Packers in the Super Bowl. I'm surprised nobody disagrees
it.
with this.
No.
No disagreements.
Who else in the NFC?
I agree.
would you say
I
is one of
know.
the top 2 contenders right now.
But it's
today?
just
It's
shocking.
sound logic.
Oh
and
my
they were
God.
terrifying in that game. They were this close to beating
Well,
the
let's say,
Niners too.
it also an NFC Championship game, Niners, Packers. The NFL is engorged at that idea.
Yeah,
So
there you go. They went from 6 to midnight when she said that. Ooh, yes.
Oh,
Oh my, the
why do you
Packers.
talk like that? I had a stroke.
Yes.
Okay. Josh Jacobs went there though. Are you sure you like this team, Drew?
You know what what Josh Jacobs can do real good? 2.5 to 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And that's really all the Packers running game has been since Dorsey Levens. So
Oh,
let's
God.
not get ahead of
Oh,
ourselves.
Dorsey. Since the J.
Do you have the card somewhere? Najee Davenport
It's
autograph.
somewhere.
Someone
I
back
need to go
there.
take it to Jay.
Yeah.
Najee. Just a victim of circumstance. He was going to poop in any laundry basket.
Right.
It could have been. It could have been an unoccupied dorm.
Mm.
He was trying. Okay.
The all girls college is the part that really buries him in that
right.
story.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem.
We always had the
Uh,
debate: is it sadder if she recognizes him, or funnier if she recognizes him, or doesn't recognize him?
Recognize him.
Yeah. Okay. That means the Vikings are next. Boy, did they have an off season. They kept Jefferson somehow by a miracle. They kept Justin Jefferson.
You're gonna like
I
that
think-
deal.
They are sad boys. They have to be, right? I don't know if they
Yeah.
fall all the way to diddly poo, because if Jefferson gives a shit, he might win him a couple games by himself.
They're for
but-
sure sad boys.
I'm open to suggestion.
I had him as one of my bottom 5 teams. I
The
just,
Diddley Pooers?
yeah,
I think they have the potential to be diddly.
this defense looks like shit. Like this offensive line is bad. They have obviously Jefferson, and they have what's his name? As long as he doesn't go
Addison.
to jail. Yeah, right.
Assuming he doesn't go to jail, right?
Right.
This is not the college football stat of the century, but it is a favorite of mine. Let's not forget that in the second half against Penn State, Michigan threw 0 passes.
Yes.
They trusted
that-
McCarthy so much, he threw 0 passes.
Well, he's not even
JJ
going to play. I
He
guess now,
can't
I
even
heard.
play for
Yeah,
4 to
he's
6
hurt.
weeks or whatever it is for
Yeah.
his meniscus tear.
They said it might be like months. If they want to repair it, it's months. If they want to like clean it up, it's like
Scope him and
4 to
let
6
him
weeks.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, fix it. Like he's probably not going to start anyway. You have Sam Darnold, so I mean, like if you're going to bomb out. Don't risk this guy. Like because they said if they just clean it up and he gets back in, he has a much higher likelihood of it like really long term
Oh,
damaging
yeah.
his leg. So just clean it up. Don't be stupid about this.
Listen, Sam Darnold's still like 19 years old, isn't he? Like
Right.
he's younger than Michael Penix. He's
Yeah.
got to be.
That's not hard.
Michael Penix still collecting his Civil War pension.
There it is.
He's talking about the War of 1812 with everyone.
Yeah. War of Northern Aggression.
His recent history.
Yes. All right. You convinced me that they're diddly pooers.
I
won't
think
fight you
Jefferson's
hard
going
on
to
it.
be. I think in a year or 2 years he's going to get traded.
When's the trade deadline?
Right. Yeah.
McCarthy being out. It's sad that McCarthy is their hope. Like we could be okay if we had that guy.
Plus, listen, with all the and this will never happen because it's within the division. But you're telling me right now, with all of the injury problems and general inconsistency at wide receiver, that by the trade deadline, the Packers wouldn't be like, "You sons
Oh
of
my
bitches,
gosh.
just
Yeah.
trade what? Name your price for Jefferson."
hmm
They're never doing that. But
No. But if it's not the Packers, some other team that is in an equal spot could make a Godfather.
Sure.
offer for him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if it's in the AFC where they don't have to see him, I could see him
100%.
listening to that. Yep.
Hello, Buffalo.
No, they don't have any money. We have 0. We signed Chase Claypool, Drew.
And
not
then put him
anymore.
on
He's
IR.
gone. He's
Yeah,
already
now
on
he's
IR.
gone.
Put him
Now
on
he's
IR.
already
That's like I don't know. Does anybody?
Brandon Ayuk wants a deal.
gone. Mm.
I'm gonna say Ryan. I know
We have
you're
no
an NBA
money.
guy. You remember Rafe LaFrance in
Oh,
Kansas?
of course. Yes,
Rafe
he
LaFrance
got
was Rafe LaFrance's contract towards the end of his career was like the most sought after trade
Yes.
asset in the NBA because it was fully guaranteed by insurance since he couldn't
Oh,
play
that's
medically.
right.
yes.
Yeah.
So like every team was trying to trade for that deal so that they would get paid to have him on the roster.
I love. And
Oh, Rafe.
again, one day you're gonna have to explain this to me, Drew, when we're off air. I have never fully understood the concept of how the NBA can be like trading. Just here's a contract and this over here, like here's this guy's corpse. Like they literally should be. I'm surprised they're not trading Civil War.
You
pensions.
you could teach a master's level economics class in the NBA salary cap.
It's wild.
Like I'm in deep on the NBA, and even I don't understand it all with the mid-level exception and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
The second apron. Do you have that in lockdown?
All I've learned is don't be the Suns. Don't pay 3 guys at the expense of 9.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a bad idea. Didn't Rafe get amnestied? That's the only sport
Yes.
where like you could get give away a contract.
Yes.
And I remember being
eventually.
so into that, like the amnesty clause. You could get rid of one overpaid guy with no penalty. Like, who do you want to get rid of?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Mhm.
No other sport has ever done that. But the owners figured out how to do that. Like, we shouldn't have signed all these guys.
How bad is the NBA union?
They've they went through a period of time where they were not in a position of strength. The last
Yeah,
couple
right.
of CBAs have been better for them, but they went for a long time where Delonte West was trying to get work at Home Depot or whatever.
That guy. Oh boy.
You should just give it to Kevin Herter as head of the union.
Absolutely.
I think that'll-
Why not?
that'll be great, yeah.
He's great. All right. NFC South time. We'll start with the Falcons.
Can we just put everybody in the sad boy category and be done with it? Or worse?
Maybe.
Oh my god!
Somebody has to make the playoffs.
I
Listen,
guess.
listen,
One team.
I'm gonna lay out this whole division right now. All right.
Okay. All right. Save us some time.
The Falcons are Jeff Fisher because somebody has to be. Everybody
Mm.
else is sad boy or worse.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually,
So
I
the
guess out of
Falcons-
all of them. Yeah,
The Falcons are Jeff Fisher, but they could make the playoffs still, or that you think the NFC South will get locked out completely?
Like ultimately, for the accuracy of this, we have to put at least one team from that division in the playoffs. But again, I don't want to reward bad behavior. Because
I leave them there. They are the top team, but I would leave
Yeah,
them.
I
as
think
Jeff
so
Fisher.
too.
Yeah.
Because Atlanta signed a 40-year-old quarterback and drafted a 140-year-old quarterback.
Yes.
Who's
Like,
your
and
QB
I know-
coach? Methuselah.
Yeah, and I know everybody's saying like
Try this
everybody's-
forward pass.
I know that there's starting to be backlash on the like don't overrate Kyle Pitts now that he has a sentient quarterback
my
problem,
God.
but also that dude's really good.
Yeah.
I think we learned that homeboy there from Cincinnati, Desmond Ritter, not so good.
No.
Not the Riddler.
Hey, he gave the Panthers one of their wins by fumbling on the goal line last year. So I love Desmond.
Panthers MVP right there.
Thank you for that.
And I want to like the Saints because the Saints are like a well-run team and they have a lot of pieces, but they
This team's horrible. The Saints are
I
real
know
bad.
I know they're bad. I
Yeah.
know they're bad. Like
I
they're
would-
bad.
I would put them in sad boys because like there is no hope for this team this year. Like I wouldn't say they're dead last, but like they're just pessimism about the Saints.
Agreed.
So-
Agreed.
They're
And I-
in deep trouble, right? The Saints are about to collapse, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You know what they're doing? They're just eyeing Arch Manning, baby.
Oh,
That is their game plan.
100%.
John Gruden and Arch Manning.
They're just going to bomb for 2 years and get themselves an arch.
You know who's now playing in New Orleans? Spencer Rattler.
I would
Did
love
you
that.
see his line from their first preseason game? It was the
God.
perfect Spencer Rattler line. It was like 7 of 19 for 85 yards and an interception, but also like 45 yards rushing and a touchdown.
Like 19 passes in a
He is-
game.
You remember how we referred to the Syracuse quarterback as bath salts Josh Allen? Somebody, Spencer Rattler is bath salts someone. I don't know who the comp is. It's not Josh Allen, but he's bath salts Gardner
I can't
Minshew. or
believe that
something.
guy never even got like a camp invite. I figure with all the zaniness, he
No.
would have gotten somewhere.
Nothing.
Maybe the UFL. Maybe Mike Showboat will get him.
All
That'd be
right.
great. That'd be great. He'd be perfect in that league.
Wow. So I wasn't go to the Saints, but they are a sad boy.
I think they're a sad boy. Yeah.
The Bucks-
I think the Bucks are generically a sad boy.
Yeah.
You don't think they're Jeff Fisher? I don't know what the Bucks did that
mean-
makes them any better.
I mean, sell me on it. What makes them Jeff Fisher?
Just that they're better than half this division.
No, we're not rewarding bad behavior. Right?
Okay, all right.
Just
Mike,
every
Mike,
Let Baker
Mike-
bake. It
Mike-
worked.
Mike knows the back half of the quote. Mike, if you remove the penalty for being a bum,
Bombism will flourish.
correct.
Bumism will flourish. You don't believe in Todd Bowles?
Oh my God, he doesn't even believe in himself. So-
I don't really believe in Baker. Like Baker was
Yeah.
great, but I don't know. It all feels so damned unsustainable.
This whole
Wow.
offense got older. Like they're getting
did.
so old. Mike Evans can't wait to drop 3 passes a game now.
They re-signed Mike Evans.
I know.
I guess they didn't have a choice.
I think sad boys. I think this is very good for them. Yeah.
Wow.
Also remember, they might not get 2 easy wins against the Falcons again.
Yeah.
The
That's
Falcons,
true.
for whatever you may or may not believe about Kirk Cousins, he makes the Falcons immeasurably better than they were.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. For
And
sure.
their
And they were
defense
kind
is
of
good.
mediocre last time.
Their defense is good.
It's going to be raining Coles cash.
Could be. I was concerned when Cousins said, I can like drop back straight, but if you ask me to move laterally, it's a problem. And that was like a month ago.
I don't know. I kind of like the self-realization there.
You know what? That's where Penix goes in there with his
Yeah.
walker. Like,
Yeah.
he's at least got the balance to go laterally. He's got one of those
He's got
hurricanes.
wheels.
Yeah,
It's
he's got the little
awesome.
tennis ball on the bottom of the
Yes.
walker. He's great.
Wheels, he can move that way.
He's gonna be
Oh,
30, by the way, when his rookie contract is over.
The cold tub for him is one of those walk-in tubs.
you don't want him to fall. He has a life alert around his
He's got
neck in
little
case he
anal bars
falls.
next to it.
You hit the button and you can call the fire department immediately.
Oh, Michael Penix, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. I really have nothing against you. This joke has spiraled out of control.
And,
It
and,
is.
and if you can't hear it, Michael, turn up your hearing aid.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Oh God. Well, that means there's one team
Or ask the
left.
nurse to turn up the TV.
Our team's a dumpster fire, but at least that hot mess can keep you warm. Those lucky devils and comas don't have to watch this shit show anymore. We fired the corpse of Frank Reich so he can be in bed by 8. We proved the opposite of love is apathy, it's not hate. Carolina, oh Carolina.
Yes, it's the Carolina Panthers. New coach again. Deontay Johnson from the Steelers. Several draft picks that might be okay. Xavier Leggett. Brooks from Texas, who's hurt, but eventually we'll get in there. And then the Sanders from Texas. Couple of offensive draft picks I think could be okay. They signed 2 guards,
Good.
which I think is a good move.
A really
Probably.
fat one, right? That's what I really
Yep.
like. I think I
Damian
really,
Lewis and Robert Hunt.
right.
Couple of fat boys.
I like fat boys in line.
Bryce Young, still there, still 5'3". Still can't see over the line, can't see the cookie jar, but they're probably still at the bottom of the barrel here. But is there any hope for me? Are they going to be any better at all? A little bit? I'm not sure.
It can't be much worse. I mean,
It can't be worse, right?
right?
If that's not damning with faint praise, I don't know
Yeah,
what is.
So they're diddly poor still.
Yes.
Until proven otherwise. Like,
They can't get out of they're stuck in jail until
yeah, right.
you have to have good behavior to get
They
out.
have not rolled doubles yet. So
They got to stop pouring drinks on fans and yelling at bar owners and all that.
Hmm.
I do think they'll be better
Okay.
because it can't be any worse.
Can't be
So
worse.
Right.
I
Are
just
you
don't think
sure
they're.
about that?
I just don't think they're out of the diddly poo
Are you
area.
sure about that?
Ryan, this is not the year you want the number 1 overall pick. There is no Manning in this draft. And I mean,
No,
literally
there's not.
mean there is no Manning in this draft.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You don't want a Ewers. Okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't
You
say
might,
you were
you
short.
might.
I
you
like
might.
Ewers. But still.
You might. Any. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we need a tackle or several offensive linemen.
No.
I think they're going to be a little bit better, but I also think
Oh.
Dave Canales feels like a kindergarten teacher.
Yes.
He's just
Didn't you write a sex book? Did we talk
Sure
about
did.
that?
That's right.
yep, he sure did. He wrote a book about how not to cheat on your wife.
That's a whole book now.
That-
Yeah.
Step
Don't-
1.
yeah.
Don't cheat on your wife.
Yeah,
Thank you
probably
for coming to
shouldn't
my
cheat on
TED
your
Talk.
wife a lot, like I did, by Dave Canales. Jesus help me to stop cheating on my wife.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
that's-
by the way, if you write that book, they ain't gonna hire you as a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll say, was that all the same? Was that all the title of his book, or because that's pretty long?
That's what she said.
Oh,
Maybe it's a PDF, like not actually a bound book. Like it's just a PDF you can get. You email him, hey Dave, I want to read that book. He's like, here you go, I got it. 25 pages.
25.
That's all it is. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get much better when you bring in Deontay Johnson, the cancer of all cancers, to a shit team. I don't think that's great. I tried to watch Panthers Patriots preseason, and I heard someone refer to it as it was horrible, and I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
Someone referred to it as the future UPS drivers of America versus the Patriots, and that's what it felt like.
One of my guys at work told me he put a bet down. He's a Giants fan. He put a bet down on a Giants preseason game, and I really wanted to get him help at that point. I'm like,
That's
what?
the problem.
Just fucking flip a coin, bro. Like
Jesus
you're gonna get
Christ.
basically the same results.
That's a problem. All right.
It's a real
Well,
problem.
no more debate there. They're still in the diddly poo until they can get out of timeout.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the next division, the Cardinals in the NFC West. They didn't really do very much. They got Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's
Yes,
a big
that's-
get.
Nice.
And if I don't know if Kyler's healthy and
Yeah.
if he's as ready as they say he is, they could be reasonably competitive.
I don't like him not playing in out of all every quarterback.
No.
He really should have gotten some snaps in preseason.
No.
He's going to
There's
need
been-
that. So,
There's been no
yeah.
Call of Duty released recently.
right.
Not yet. He's very
I-
focused right now.
I want to say Jeff. I kind of they're a little scrappy. I kind of like
That's
them.
high.
like
Jeff
them as
Fisher.
a
I
Fisher
know. I
team.
know.
I'm with you. I kind of like them
Yeah.
as a Jeff Fisher.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
I
like
don't know,
them
I
as a Jeff Fisher. That's shocking. James Conner. Defense is
Yeah.
pretty bad, right? Their defense sucks.
Defense isn't great, but like James Conner is like one of the most underrated running backs. He's getting older now,
Yes.
but like that dude has worked his ass off his entire career.
Yeah.
And I really like Marvin Harrison. He's such a freak.
do
So,
too.
He's good, but he is
yeah.
weird, right? Is there going to be
I
an
don't know what's
attitude
going on.
problem there?
what is he's not? They're not selling his jersey still. Is that what I heard? Like he's
Wouldn't-
still not allowing them to sell his own jersey.
Yeah, he refused to sign his merchandise deal or whatever. I don't know. I don't understand that.
Car wash.
Oh God.
Drew,
That's for
Drew?
sure.
there is a new Call of Duty out in October.
Oh well, all right then. They'll
then
be
just hold-
7-0, and then
Eventually,
it'll
it'll collapse.
No, I think it's September scrap because he's got to plan for it. He's got to get
That's true.
himself psyched
That's
up.
Start
He's got to
leveling
play the
up.
old games. How's he going to know the story, Drew? He's got to revisit the old games. The deep Call of Duty lore.
So this one's sad for me because you now have a new bow. You have a new bow, Mark. Mark's Rams.
Yeah.
You broke up with the Rams, Mark.
Don't bring up those whores around me. I don't want to hear it.
Mark's Rams no longer just the Rams. They were in the playoffs last year.
Diddly poo! Sorry, I'm jealous. I'm a little jaded over here, but
They didn't really do very much, and they lost Aaron Donald. So are they still are they a Jeff Fisher, which would be ironic because Jeff Fisher was their coach.
I think so.
yeah.
I like the
That's
idea
where I
of
put him too.
any team Jeff Fisher's been involved with has to be in the Jeff Fisher category.
That'll be great for Killer Greg. That's
The Jeff Fishers.
higher than we normally would rate them, I think.
Yes. They are. I mean, Puka Nacua is hurt, so that's not helping. And Cooper Kupp is always hurt.
And Stafford his arm is just fucking dangling.
Yeah,
Like,
about to fall off.
right.
Yeah.
I'm getting real like Ben Roethlisberger, not like the rapey stuff, but like the
Yeah.
real Ben Roethlisberger at the end of his career, where
Yes.
he just couldn't push it past 5 yards. I'm getting
Yeah,
that
he
with
can't
Stafford.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't think he's quite there yet, but maybe soon.
it hit Big Ben fast. It hit him real fast.
It
so
did.
We'll see.
The Jeff
Like
Fishers.
that motorcycle.
The Los Angeles Fishers. There's a world where they could move up to playoffs, but
Yeah.
But I ain't putting them there.
No.
all right, we're not doing it. San Francisco
They gotta put themselves
49ers.
there. Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
49ers are still in the Super
Yep,
Bowl
well,
category
everyone's
until
agreed.
otherwise.
Yep.
What What about
Yeah,
Brandon
we
Ayuk? If he gets traded, what does that change anything?
We're fine.
They're going to get a receiver back. It's not like they're going to get nothing for him. So I mean,
We're fine.
yeah. And they got Debo still, and obviously Christian McCaffrey.
But if
And,
Debo's hurt all the time,
Greg,
And McCaffrey's hurt all the
the
time.
poor man, Greg Jennings, the other Greg Jennings, or whatever his name is, the guy
Yes.
who's number 3 receiver for them, actually played really well in the Super Bowl,
he did.
and I think is like a decent enough talent where, and again, Shanahan will scheme around it, and they'll find a way to make it work.
Sure.
My
You got the defensive
concern
tackle who's real fucking good. I mean, this team is they're
still loaded. They're obviously still
They're
loaded.
loaded.
My only
in a
concern is
weak division.
is the Brock not having Ayuk. I think is concerning to me because
Brock turns back
that's
into a pumpkin.
that guy is his third down. I mean, he still has Kittle, but
You're right. Kittle's a safety blanket. Kittle's the one
He's
who
got Kittle, he's got Debo, he's got
Yeah.
McCaffrey. Like, I get it and I understand it. I don't.
they're definitely not better if they lose Ayuk. I mean, they're definitely not.
No, it's a loss, but it's also not like
It could be okay.
it's a manageable
handle
loss.
They can
the
handle
rumor was if okay, so hypothetically, say they trade with the Steelers. What if they get George Pickens back? Like, I think he would fit great in the Niners offense. I mean,
that would be if the Steelers did that, that would be incredibly stupid. I think.
no. I mean, that was the rumor for a while. It was just that and a pick. So
I
Him and a
think
pick,
Pickens is good. I think Pickens is pretty good. He's just been stuck on that crap team. That would be interesting if they got him back. I think they would definitely.
I don't
be
think
Super
if they
Bowl.
trade him anywhere, they're going to get some receiver back, and I feel like they'll make it
Yeah.
work. I have them firmly in the Super Bowl.
All right,
Brandon
so we're
Cooks.
still comfortable there. Seahawks, no
Oh.
Pete Carroll
Diddly
anymore.
poo.
Yeah,
You
I
think
really
they're
hate the
diddly
Seahawks this year.
pooers?
I don't like the Seahawks this year at all.
You think they're pooers though?
I
Yeah.
would have had them as sad boys, but I'll
I-
defer to the majority.
I would have said sad boys as well.
Well, we're
but-
split because we have 2 sad boys and 2 diddly pooers. So,
Well, here's
I think
the
they're
other
stuck.
problem. Here's the other problem we're running up against is we need 2 more playoff teams.
yeah, right. We're gonna have to move somebody up.
well, you know the
And-
obvious answer, but
We're gonna have to move some people up.
Yeah, we need 2 more playoff teams in the NFC. And,
I'm glad you're
I
keeping
think
track of
we
that.
ain't
Atlanta is
getting
one
there
of
yet.
them.
That was the
Atlanta is
last. So that was the last NFC team. So we have to move 2 teams up to the playoffs.
move the Falcons up. They
Yeah.
they
Okay.
Yeah,
will
I
make-
think
All right.
They don't
that's
deserve to be there,
terrifying,
but
but I
right.
think so.
They
Right.
have to be. They
and then
have to be.
obviously move the Commanders up, and then we're fine.
3 teams from the NFC East.
all right. Drew's right. Move the Cowboys down. Move the Commanders up.
No, we're not. Come on now.
I think it has to be the Rams.
Probably.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't feel good, but the Falcons didn't feel good either.
No.
Unless you want to do the Bucks, the Bucks would have to move up
I
three
think the Bucks-
three
I-
spaces.
I glanced at the Bucks quickly.
I think
You'd
the
rather
Bucks
do
might be-
Bucks?
No.
You think
It's not
2
real.
NFC South teams are making the playoffs? Oh my god! Can you imagine? It's not 2003 anymore, guys.
Wait, have we thought about moving the Commanders up? I don't know if I
Yeah,
move them up
Jesus.
real quick. Hold on, can I do it? Hold on, let's see if I can do it.
Oh,
How do I take control of your screen?
yeah. I'll give you permission.
Sweet.
All right.
Dude,
So
I'm
somebody
so
else
much
has.
more on the
Somebody
computer.
still has to go up there, but I'm voting no on the Commanders.
I am also voting no on the Commanders.
Okay. Good.
Okay, I'm voting yes.
Okay. Right. Obviously,
All
Mike. Oh,
All right.
oh, there it is. Thank you.
right, so just move them up real quick, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
You know what? The hell with it. They're only getting 6 playoff teams. The rest of you can feed on the scraps.
The hell with
Okay.
it.
All right. We're not going to do it. All right.
Post game show provided by. I can't fight it. The hell with it.
The Jeff Fisher tier implies that someone is going to fall back asswards into the playoffs. It
Yeah,
doesn't mean
right.
we have to put ourselves out on the
I
limb.
can't
for it.
believe the Cardinals are that far
If
up.
you-
But
if
I
you
like. I
really-
kind of like them. Just like I said, they're scrap. I feel better about them than the Rams being in there. So
wow.
if you really wanted to flip
Ooh.
Tampa, oh my god! If you really wanted to flip Tampa and the Rams, I could buy that. That's as far as I'm willing to go.
yeah.
We still don't have an extra playoff team there.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. I'm okay with
Put
that.
8
Extra
teams
bye
in the
week.
AFC. So
Extra bye week. All right, let's move to the AFC. In the AFC East, Let's start with the New York Jets. They are a hot mess. Poochie be Poochie. There's a book about how stupid Poochie is. Like, there's an entire book that's coming out about all of his stupid shit. And then he refused to interview. Did you see this? He refused to interview for it and then finally agreed, like, I need to clear some things up about this book.
Which is all he's fucking lying again because
Yes,
he
of
wants his
course.
book to go. It's all like marketing. He's doing a great job at it because people are interested in reading it, but it's just fucking Poochie being Poochie.
Oh my god. No vice presidency.
Shameful.
He did go to Egypt.
Yeah,
He wants to buy a house in Egypt. Is that what he said?
Yeah, they should
Good
have the
Lord.
money.
go ahead. Why not?
Please go move to Egypt. My god. Build a pyramid and never come out.
Would Poochie
All right.
make a great WWE guy at this point?
He's like
all
a
the
Bobby.
young
He's like
nerds.
Bobby Heenan, but annoying.
Yeah.
He takes himself too seriously.
I thought you were going to ask, is he going to make a good pharaoh? I'm like,
Yeah, good Pharaoh.
yeah,
He wants to be mummified.
right.
He thinks the Mummy 1999 movie is a real thing. That's
Right.
a documentary.
It's not? Yeah.
All right, where did they actually fall though? Did the Jets make the playoffs, or
Diddley
they
Poo.
Jeff Fishers? The Diddley Pooers?
Wow.
No,
No, I wouldn't put him that low.
They can't be
think they're
Diddley
play-
Pooers.
they-
They have too much
they're
I
talent.
hate him.
Are they sad boys? They got to do. They're gonna be in the mix
They
in
are
some
a
way.
playoff team.
They're
Yeah,
a playoff team.
If they stay healthy, they're a playoff team. They
If
have
they're-
to be.
that defense is so good. That defense
I
is
know.
real good.
Even without Reddick, that defense is so good.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Reddick. I never understood why they traded for him. They have good young defensive ends. Don't you want to develop these guys? Like
Well,
they
they
drafted
lost-
first rounders.
they lost
They lost
Hughes' buckets.
Bryce
to-
Huff. They lost
Yeah.
Bryce Huff
But
to the
Bryce
Eagles.
Huff doesn't make or break that defense.
Right. Then they
He had
just
10
draft-
sacks. He had 10 sacks last year.
I would give these defensive ends if you drafted them in the first round like they did. Give them some shots. So I thought that was a
Besides,
stupid move.
we all know how this ends. Like week 6, when they're desperate for pass rush, they sign Jadeveon Clowney, which seems to be everybody's fucking solution.
Well,
No, who's
listen,
that-
he's gonna solve the Panthers pass rush. Okay, he's on the Panthers.
What's
Whatever.
that?
He's
Nadam-
Jack Van Horn.
The guy who used to play for the Vikings, who has gone like to a team every year. Who's that guy? The defensive end. He has a weird
Hunter?
name, NDAMGKE or something like that.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. He was on
I
the
know.
Jaguars for a hot second.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ngakwe. He was on the
Yeah,
Raiders for a
right.
hot
Yeah.
second, too.
right.
He's been on every team.
Yeah.
He's like the Josh Johnson of defensive ends.
Yeah.
Okay, the Jets are a playoff team. Oh my god.
They have to be. Anything else for them is a
41-year-old
miserable
Poochie
failure.
with a bum Achilles.
I
They
mean,
don't
they're
have
all-
any other choice.
They have Brees Hall, who's awesome. Garrett
Yes.
Wilson, who's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike Williams, who sucks ass, but that's fine. You're not going to use him very much. I actually agree with almost everything they did, other than that, Mike. What a waste of a pick, or what waste of a signing, Mike.
$11
Williams.
million, and
Yeah,
that's a drop
for-
in the
to
bucket.
be-
Yeah. They made their line way better.
They did.
That's
They're
they
old,
drafted
but
some
they're
dudes.
still better.
They drafted some dudes who
They're
can play.
very
Well,
old.
listen, it doesn't matter if they made their team old because they're
Sure.
going to go as their 41-year-old quarterback.
Yeah, right,
goes. And when
right.
he
They're
retires,
they're
that's the end
aged
for them
appropriate.
anyway.
Yeah, right.
They are aged appropriate. Okay.
Wait, what's that terrible movie with Clint Eastwood and it's all those old astronauts that have to go fix the space
Oh,
station or whatever?
Space
Show-
Cowboys?
Yeah,
Showgirls.
that's it.
Showgirls.
Showgirls. Yeah, absolutely.
Showgirls. All right. The Patriots. I would vote Diddley
Diddley
Poo.
Poo. This
Agreed.
team is
And not even
This
out of
team
spite.
yeah
stinks.
no, devoid of talent. This might
This
be the
team
least talented team
sucks.
in the NFL. Yeah, and when your head coach basically just admits that, I kind of have a little like Jared Mayo. I kind of have respect for him because just like
They
this
suck.
is going to be a tough year. It's like this is not the team we are hoping to build one day.
No,
Cool. I like that you said that. Like
that's true. It's
Right.
actually a truth from a Patriots coach, which
Right.
is odd to feel.
I recently went to Gillette Stadium for Metallica,
Ooh.
and it was so awful just being in that building. So much evil has happened there.
Yes, right.
I understand that that's not the building that the Tuck Rule happened in because that was the old Foxborough Stadium, but still,
Mm.
like the shadow of it lingers. Ugh,
Awful.
It's like the
Awful.
cave on Dagobah.
exactly.
Yeah.
What's in there? Only what you take with you. But it's just, it's a place of evil, and you can feel it.
You just saw.
And the sound in there is terrible, as it turns
Oh,
out.
cut.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
oh,
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, Diddley Poo, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, we all agree. They
I
absolutely
also
suck.
like that in the little thumbnails, the face of the flying Elvis is cut off.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very appropriate for this team this
Mhm.
year. Yeah.
I
And
love
they
that
play-
logo.
They played a tough division. That's like 6
Terrible.
losses right there. I
Drake
mean, that's,
Drake May is not going to be good.
No.
Not right away, and
Oh,
with the
no.
talent and all that, no, he's not going to be good.
yeah.
No, his most prominent feature is his eyebrows.
His eyebrows aren't going to save him from this team. Oh my god, they already are talking if the other guy Milton is better. They're already saying that.
After
They
one
replaced-
preseason game,
He threw
they're saying
3
it.
passes, my guys.
So
They- They replaced Mac Jones with Mac Jones.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Is New England
Ugh.
now going to do what the Bills used to do with running backs, where no matter what happens,
Got a railroad.
second string guy is always the greatest guy ever,
Yeah.
and it's
comes
only the
Fred
other guy to get out of the
Jackson.
way.
They need their conductor, Fred
I was gonna
Jackson.
say, here comes Fred
The
Jackson,
one who
the
avoided it.
conductor.
I love
He
it.
was pulling the strings the whole
Right.
time.
Bills fans never turned on Freddie.
They never did. They never turned on Frank Reich either. But
Yeah.
we know the truth, Mark.
Oh, poor Frank.
The story we will never tell on the air.
Can't tell it. He's also been in bed for at least 3 hours, so
Yeah, right.
he can't stay up past 8. The Dolphins, I don't know where to put these guys. Jeff
This is
Fisher.
tough.
I think the
Starting
Dolphins
with
are a
Jeff
playoff
Fisher.
team. And I hate it because I don't think they're very good, but I
don't
think
think
they're
they
a
are.
playoff team.
I mean, offensively they are, but defensively it's
Defensively,
real
they
bad.
got so bad.
They're
like,
old. They're old and thin.
That's true. That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
Their defense
All right.
is like the only guys they had Christian Wilkins, who was
Gone.
by far one of their best
Gone.
defensive player,
Guys,
immediately
Yes.
left.
we are not having 3 playoff teams out of the AFC East. Stop.
Well,
It's
we
not.
haven't gotten to the painful part of this conversation yet.
It's not painful.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm on board with what you're going to say.
Oh,
Drew.
come
So-
on.
Oh.
No.
right. No way. You're not going
Yeah.
to do this. You're not going to do this right now,
Now,
are you?
I am not putting them lower than Jeff Fisher.
Well, I also
Watching Buffalo, I learned to spell bills. Boy, I love losing Super Bowls. Here we go, Buffalo, playing on the field of broken dreams. Here we go.
Here we go, Buffalo. You think they're Jeff Fishers?
there's too much turnover. It's just
I-
that offense with not having a really number one receiver, I think is really going to be a problem for that team.
But you love Keon Coleman.
He's still a rookie.
I know.
He's still a rookie. Who's number 2? Khalil Shakir?
You like him too, though.
He's not a number 1 or a number 2. So this team, I think they are primed to have a good offseason because they have $90 million coming their way after Diggs go off the book and Von Miller goes off the books. So you're going to have a shit ton of cap space. They have 3 number 2 picks already, going into next year. I think they're primed for a good – this is going to be a tough year. This is going to be like a 9-8 year or an 8-9 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I don't have them lower than that because I think they
No.
still got enough going for them that they'll be, they could even be in the hunt late in the season, but I don't think they're guaranteed a playoff spot.
I agree with that. I don't think they
But
will.
the
I don't think the Dolphins belong there either. I honestly think the
I don't-
Jets might be the only team.
Listen, move the Dolphins down. That's fine with me.
I look at this Dolphins team, not to go back on them real quick, but I look at this Dolphins team and that offense can hang with anybody, but that defense has gotten not just worse, like significantly worse in the
Worse,
offseason.
yeah.
And that defense wasn't great to begin with last year. So I don't know. I think they're going to have to win games 55 to 53.
What's the over-under on Tua getting hurt, too?
Yeah, right. He
Yeah.
he survived one season in his first season ever to
Yes.
actually make it through a regular season, and that's going back to high school that he's ever actually did a full season. So
But they got Mike fucking White, so there's nothing to worry about.
that's true.
What's the ratio of $1 million that Tua got per points they need to score? Like
Oh
10
my
to
God.
1? Like he gets $1 million for every 10 points they
And,
score? They need to
like-
score 500 points?
Listen, Tyreek, he's a shitbag human, but he's still very good. But speed's the first thing that goes, and if that goes on him,
He's done.
he's done.
And done.
So I like Waddle though. I do like Waddle.
I do like Waddle too. But again, football players getting played like basketball players or like starting pitchers. Like Jalen Waddle's a $30 million guy. Nico
Yeah.
Collins is a $30 million guy. Like, how far does this extend?
The league just has that kind of money.
I guess. But man,
Salary
you're
cap's
gonna
going up.
find out the bad end of it when you're paying your nickel cornerback $450,000, and the dude can't run left.
Okay. Wow. The AFC East really shocked me. It's time for the Ravens. They're next. The Ravens brought in Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They're in the AFC North. They're still very good. Are they they're a playoff at least, right?
They're definitely
Yes.
playoff. I'm not sure I put them
Are
in
they
Super
Super Bowl?
I think they are.
Yeah. You gotta convince
I'm
me.
being
Like,
very
I just
forgiving this year.
the stupidity just sticks with me for that AFC Championship game where
I
they
know.
refuse to run. And
Yeah.
I-
Which
I
they
can't get
solved
over
that problem technically.
We think they fixed that problem.
Yeah. They should have fixed that
Although
problem here.
hysterical that didn't their entire old backfield sign with the Chargers?
Yes. They're all
Yeah.
with the Chargers.
Harbaugh to Harbaugh.
My God.
Oh man, I don't. There's another
They-
team I feel better about being in the Super Bowl in the AFC.
They lost Patrick Queen. He left. He's on the Steelers now. Kyle Hamilton has a knee injury,
Yeah.
which isn't great.
Fine. This won't surprise me. I think Lamar Jackson is getting a little overrated. I don't think he's as good as Joe Burrow. I don't think he's as good as Josh Allen.
Was that the lamest MVP last year? I didn't feel good about that MVP.
The worst part is
Facto
you could have made
MVP.
an excuse to just give it to Mahomes, and I would have been like, yeah, that's fine. Like,
Fine.
that's-
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
But
I
yes,
just
Ryan,
didn't feel good
it
about it.
did have that feeling of I
Christian
don't know,
McCaffrey, Brock Purdy.
Right.
Yeah, it just
Brock Purdy's not an MVP.
it was a very, very
McCaffrey.
weird.
You shut your mouth and you talk to me.
How much you paying him?
As much as we have to right now.
What's that number? Put a number on it.
All right, Ravens.
Bullshit, unless you're prepared to come into the ring.
Our Ravens
Whatever
are
he needs.
a potential Super
Pay that
Bowl
man
contender.
his money.
You're gonna pay him some James Harden money, and you're gonna regret
Oh
it.
no, Jalen Brown money.
He's gonna show up to camp in a fat suit. It's gonna be great.
Oh God, Brock Purdy
I
in a
love the
fat
NBA.
suit.
Love it.
The Bengals are next. I
Super
feel like
Bowl.
they're still good, but they're very, very, very thin. If somebody gets hurt, they're done.
I want to put them in the Super Bowl tier, but I can't because something bad will happen to them. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
They lost Joe Mixon. Jamar Chase is holding out. T. Higgins is not happy with them, and is going to leave.
I know. And Joe Burrow could get hurt again, and
Yep.
you know, Kajana Carter could tear his ACL one more
Definitely.
time. Like
I honestly cannot
something
remember
terrible is gonna happen.
Dave Klingler is going to come in.
what did
Keely
Joe
Smith.
Burrow hurt. Is it something that can linger, or is it like
It was his
repair it and you're
wrist,
fine?
right? It was his wrist, I think.
No,
I thought it was his
Everything.
knee. Yeah, right. He had like
no,
a
it
whole
was a
bunch.
knee thing.
Finger/buttocks.
Yes.
He-
Okay.
He's not an Ivy League guy.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the Fiedler.
yeah.
The Fiedler.
Um,
They're good, but they're very, very thin. If some people get hurt or
I
don't
could-
play,
I think Mike is right. I mean, I could see this team in the Super Bowl easily
I
if
can
things
too.
go well, but I think safely, let's put them in playoffs.
Because
All right.
this team
Yeah.
is still fundamentally better than the team they had that actually went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But
Right.
something bad
Sure.
always happens to them.
This is fine.
And also, not for nothing, I understand we don't value running backs the way we used to, but they traded Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
And he was a huge, like, shit, we need 3 yards, turn around and hand him the ball. Like, he
He
could
was.
block, he could absorb carries, he could pile up yards slowly. Like, he was a
Yeah.
big success, and God knows what they're going to do.
I will say this though, they were real happy to get rid of him because I think he was a little bit of a head case.
I think so, too. I think
No.
so.
they were
lot
gonna
of
cut
shit.
him, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
that the
right.
story?
Yes,
and
they
then
were
the
gonna
Texans
cut
were
him,
like,
and then the
"We'll give
Texans
you a
swooped
7th
in.
round pick." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, sure,
Yeah.
great, we'll take it." Chase Brown was exciting at times last year. I don't know if he's a full-time back, but he
Yeah.
had some exciting moments.
There's too much dread hanging over the Bengals for me to put them in the Super Bowl.
And a
Yeah.
lot of it is their
Yeah.
owner.
100%.
Right.
100% it is.
All right, the Browns. No Joe Flacco to bail them out this time.
Where are the Browns?
Yeah, I
They're
don't
not,
even see
they're not even on this list. That's how shitty the
Wow.
Browns are. You forgot it, tier maker. You forgot to put the Browns in there.
It's fine. I have the Browns firmly as a sad boy because
I
their
do too.
All right,
their
there you
defense
go.
is really good.
I think what really solidified it was, and we're like, if you read their message boards, you're like, that's it. we got Ayuk. And then he was just like, fuck no, I don't want to go to the
No.
Browns. That's
I
the
don't wanna do
perfect sad boy.
I'm going to go out on a limb. Like, I am publicly on the record on this show that I am in favor of guaranteed contracts in the NFL for a number of reasons.
Mm.
But dear sweet merciful God, how much do they hate that Watson deal right now?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
they hate it.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
It's a disaster.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
He's terrible. And
Not
oh,
getting
by the
better with
way-
age.
Well,
So-
and oh, by the way, remember the one good season he had, Mark, as you brought it up, the Texans were still under 500.
right. They were like 4-12.
So what are you paying this dude for? Like,
Right.
they've
Massage
posed
parlors.
themselves for a long time with that deal.
They've cursed
like-
themselves.
Move the cursor over to sad boy.
Yeah.
So we'll just pretend.
Yes,
We put
Yeah,
but
here
their,
you go.
their defense is so good, it's going to get
It
them
is
into the
good.
sad boy category.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, they're not diddly poo, but
No,
it's
they're
just-
not.
no.
I fucking hate this team. I just
They
want
have
to
James, but they have Jameis Winston. We never brought that up. They have
Right.
Jameis Winston on their team.
back to their first and second depth chart football FUBAR inductees. So it's
Two-time.
not good. Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's a virile fresh seafood market in Cleveland.
No.
So
He'll be okay. He'll be on his best behavior.
no, it won't.
No, he won't. He'll be handing it off to some running back, defying the coach on a kneel down. He didn't play all season last year, and that's the one thing that he
This is-
did.
This is the worst thing that I might be able to say about somebody. Is Spencer Rattler bath salts Jameis Winston?
He might be.
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
I
Holy
like
shit.
that.
Yes.
Bath salts Jameis Winston. He might
Considering
be.
that Jameis Winston might be bath salts Jameis Winston.
Yes,
that's
he
pretty
is.
harsh.
Yes, right.
I also like, by the way, that thank God Spencer Rattler graduated because the guys who made College Football 25 did not want to animate that guy. He's
No.
a strange looking.
He's a weird looking dude.
Yeah.
He looks like a 2002 college football athlete.
Yes, when they used to have the
Yeah.
weird eyes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
All right, the Steelers are the last team in this division. They have two new quarterbacks, not one. They have two, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. They're not paying him much.
No.
I don't
have
want
them
to
both.
put the Steelers in the playoffs, but I'm going to because I've learned my lesson about betting against their coach.
They made the playoffs with Mason Rudolph last year.
Yes,
know.
they did. You're right.
I know. Never bet against
And if they get
Omar
I
Ayuk,
think
I
they're
mean,
Jeff
that is
Fisher.
that's a good spot for them. So
I said Jeff Fisher, but
I would agree with Mike. I don't think they're like firmly in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you can convince me of that. Listen, I'm with you, except they always end up in there somehow.
This could be the season that Tomlin's time explodes, right? This
I mean,
could fail
I guess.
epically.
I'm convinced now that it never will.
Maybe
Like,
it won't.
If it didn't explode last year with Mason Rudolph and with
Yeah.
TJ Watt not playing half the season, it's
Right.
never going to.
They're
Watt,
got to
I'm a
be
little concerned
better.
about. I don't know. Watt, like that injury is, I think, going to linger. I don't think he's
Yeah.
going to be the same player he was. I don't think he can be. I think that's,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I'd put him in Jeff Fisher, but if you guys want playoffs, that's fine.
Let's see how many playoff teams we end up
Yeah,
with.
we can move them down.
Okay.
All right, Texans. They were really surprising last year. We thought we were going to be diddly pooers. They were in the playoffs.
Super Bowl.
Beat the Browns. They added Diggs. They added Mixon.
Super Bowl.
Is that enough for a Super Bowl?
Love this team. Love this team.
I still have them as playoffs, but you could sell me if the other
I-
two of you feel strongly.
To me, this team has all the momentum going for them. They are in a division that is, as Mike was just talking about, not great. So you're looking at 6 wins right off the bat. I love this team. I think they're in a great position. I love the offense.
Do you think Diggs is going to fuck up their chemistry?
No, he's on a 1-year deal. This is when Diggs behaves himself. It's when he's on a
Okay.
1-year deal. It's when he has multiple years he fucks up.
Okay.
God, the prospect of a Packers Houston Super Bowl is making the league quake with
Yeah.
fear right
Yeah.
now.
They are
It is
very
not
upset
the
about that.
they
matchup
just
they
went
want.
from 12 back to 6.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they went back down. Oh, God. Roger
No,
needs his pills. Roger needs his pills.
I swear this has never happened before.
It's just the Texans, honey. Okay. Super Bowl. Okay.
I love them. I really do. This is my
They're going to be
favorite
good.
team going into this year. My favorite new-ish.
I
What? Hold on. What about the Commanders?
I think
No.
I think Mark think Mark is high, but let's roll with it. Let's see what happens.
Also, it just occurred to me that Mark's adopted team is in the exact same tier as his regular team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
of course.
Perfect.
Makes too much sense.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
And his adopted team last year was worse than his actual team.
They're also there. They're also on the same tier.
Yes, they are also in there as well.
I know what I like, and I also like the Cardinals. I think they're scrappy, so
You do like the Cardinals.
I do.
Reminder for next year, we should just rename that tier Mark.
Yeah, the Mark.
Mark.
But I like
Yeah,
Jeff
Mark.
Fisher so much.
I
know.
He's
Do we need
pretty
just do we need to add a tier? Maybe we do.
No, this is
That's
tough enough as it is.
It's tough enough. All right, Colts. This is the most confusing team in the NFL to me. I have no idea if they're going to be good or bad. We saw Richardson for what, like 8 quarters?
But he wasn't as
10
shit as I thought he was
quarters?
gonna be.
He was not as shit as we thought.
No, you know what he is though? He's like when you get a new pitcher and his first time through the league, he kind of fans a bunch of people because they've never seen him before, and then his
Yeah.
second time through the league, he gets hammered and he's never any
Yeah.
good. To
Mm.
me, like I firmly believe that they are going to regret choosing him.
I know you were never a fan of him coming out of college. I know that. So
He looked
No.
better than I thought.
His
when
completion
in his-
percentage in college, in the modern college game, was below 50%.
yeah, that's bad.
Ugh.
Real
Yeah.
bad.
Ugh.
But he's huge.
So
he
was
is
Jamarcus
enormous.
I might want to say sad boys because I love how they wanted to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and they didn't. I think that's very funny to me.
They did get Adnan Mitchell.
Right.
Sad boy. I
You
think
you
that's
could
about-
convince me they're not diddly poo, but I don't think they're higher
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah, I think sad boys is actually
Okay.
pretty good for them right now.
All right, I still think they are very confusing because they have pieces.
They are. Yeah, they are.
They have Pittman. They have Taylor. They have an okay defense. You know,
I feel like Taylor is the most forgotten running back in the league. Like he's not bad,
Yes.
he's good, but it's just like and nobody
Right.
thinks of him. He's just there.
all right. The Jaguars are next. They had an epic collapse last year.
Man,
They got rid of Ridley. They tried to keep him. They screwed it up, and they drafted a new guy.
they have the most okayest receivers in the league.
Yeah,
that's
they
what
also have
they
Gabe Davis. They have Gabe Davis.
The most okayest receiver in the Bills.
I think
Okay,
they
hold on,
belong
hold
in the Jeff Fisher category.
I'm going to go back for just a second because I just found the screenshot of the statistic I saw when he came out of college. I misspoke a little bit. Lowest college completion percentage of first-round quarterbacks in the last 25 drafts. Number 1, Kyle Baller, 47.8%.
Oh,
Number 2, Ryan Leaf. Number 3, Jim Druckenmiller. Number
Oh.
4, Jake Locker. Number 5, Anthony Richardson, 54.7%.
Wow,
Darn.
that is not a group you want to be plugged in with.
No.
No.
no, it's not. All right, Jaguars, Jeff Fisher, or
Yeah,
any?
that's probably fine for them.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Fisher.
I think the Jaguars are sad boys. I don't know. I
Oh.
don't feel good.
You
I
could
don't
convince
feel
me
good
of that.
about them at all. There's just
Oh.
and again, like Trevor Lawrence now on the Bradley Beal all
Yeah.
overpaid team, and I love Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence is B+ Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
That's true, but they do have a lot of stuff.
That's true, and their division sucks.
yeah.
Their division
defense is
sucks.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you convinced me they're a Jeff Fisher team. I just, boy, if that's like the 8-9, 9-8, I have them on the 8-9 side of that.
Mhm. I still think they're around that range. I leave them here.
Okay, they're not so sad yet. They might be. All right, the Titans, Greg's Titans, Will Levis. He has a mayonnaise commercial. Finally, it took a year.
Yes, he does. Absolutely.
He
I love
has a
that.
mayonnaise commercial now,
Yeah.
which is great. By the
Mhm.
way, it's very funny.
I was
They-
actually a little bit higher on this team until I heard DeAndre Hopkins is hurt. Like I actually thought old man
Mm.
Hopkins was actually still really producing, but
Yep.
and Levis looked at him a lot. If he's hurt,
And-
I'm
And
not-
oh, by the way, they don't have Derrick Henry anymore.
They do not, but they do have Calvin Ridley. So they overpaid for his ass.
What a statement! That's
Sad boys of the Titans. They did fix
I
their
think so.
line, which was an epic
They
clip,
did?
which you can
I don't-
find on our page.
Yeah.
Greg flips out when the Titans pick another tackle or whatever.
the best part about that was Greg was like 10 seconds ahead of the rest of us, so
Yes.
you got to see it. We got to absorb his disappointment early. That was real fun.
I remember
Uh,
that. That was fun.
Yeah,
What a great moment. You get to see a live reaction
I
of
think the Titans actually
disappointment.
kind of surprised a little bit because of that division, but I
Yeah.
think I put them here, but I could see them move up. Wait, didn't we want to say anybody associated with Jeff Fisher goes to the Jeff Fisher range? Should we move them up by default?
We
No.
should, but they're not as good. They don't belong in Jeff Fisher.
Let's not be stupid here.
We can't do that. Although Levis he had some moments last year. He had that one game where he made the comeback on Monday Night Football.
I like his swagger. I really do. I like his attitude. I think that goes a long way. But
who's the most irrational, confident guy in the NBA? Nick Young. In the past, he's the Nick Young of the NFL.
That's a good description. Yeah.
Somebody, a brief aside. Somebody sent me this because Nick Young came up in a conversation I had recently. A friend of mine sent me a screen capture of a thing from the NBA subreddit that was just like, who is the most frustrating player you've ever been around? Like a guy who had immense physical talent for your team, but there was something else wrong that he never produced. And some Cavaliers fan just posted J.R. Smith on Ritalin would have been the greatest shooter in league history. And one, true. Two, it immediately made me think of Nick Young.
My favorite thing is Nick Young, JaVale McGee, and who was the other guy? We're all on the Wizards at one point. It was
yes,
all three of the guys on the same team.
JaVale McGee has a gold medal, by the way.
Oh my God. Good for him. Okay. All right. Titans and the Sad Boys. All right. Our last group.
City in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, just throw
Yeah,
we don't need to talk about it, do we?
I don't want to talk about them.
Right.
3-peat is possible. We'll put them up there. Broncos. Is Bo Nix good or not? That's the only thing they need to worry about.
No,
right?
The report out of training camp is that none of their three quarterbacks has shown themselves off all that well. And he's in there.
Bo Nix had a great preseason game when nobody game planned for him and he played against third stringers and nobody blitzed. Right. He's great. As long as you do that, he's fine.
That is a diddly poo team to me.
Yeah, that's diddly poo.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They are wandering the desert.
What you have right there, by the way, is exactly my bottom five. When I rank them going into this, that's exactly the guys I have in the bottom.
I think that's good. I like that. Yeah. All right, we'll do the Chargers next. Jim Harbaugh.
Mike's Chargers.
Oh, what? There we go.
I like Is this a San Francisco bias?
A little bit, but also look, as a Niners fan, I watched Harbaugh come in and turn around a shithole team into a Super Bowl contender with Boar's Head lunch meat quality. Okay.
Okay. How dare you besmirch Boar's Head?
That's a Listeria joke. Justin Herbert's really good at being a quarterback, I think.
I like it. You said that.
Maybe.
I think.
Well, look, it's the Chargers. You never really know.
Well, you can't be sure.
If anybody's going to get it out of him, it's going to be Harbaugh. And
every time he opens his mouth, he's so full of shit.
I love it.
He is transcended into Al Pacino Godfather 3 version of Jim Harbaugh. He's so far over the waterfall now.
Look, he's like a wrestling heel to me at this point. I love him.
And by the way, he totally Pete Carrolled his way out of Michigan. He was like, "They're coming for me, and I know they're coming for me."
And we said that last year.
Yeah,
we said that last year, didn't we?
Guys, wait for it. Okay, just wait for it.
He already can't coach in college football again for 4 years. It's him being the honorary captain at Michigan's first game is going to be the most awkward moment in college football this year.
I thought today that he's no longer an honorary captain.
No, he can't be. They took it away.
Yep. So they made it sound like it was a mutual decision, but it most definitely was not. So
thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking the Chargers. Plus, they have those sweet powder blue uniforms.
They do
have that.
Awesome jerseys. Yep.
So I have moderately high hopes for the Chargers this year.
I'm okay with them at the Jeff Fisher level.
I think
with the possibility they can move up.
Because the Broncos suck, so they're already better than one team.
They're real bad.
I think they're better than the Raiders.
Wow. So are we Jeff Fishering them or are we playoffing them?
I'll leave them at Jeff Fisher. Leave them at
Jeff Fisher for now.
I'm kind of okay with our AFC playoff teams.
You good with that? Okay.
I think so.
All right. It means that we're down to one, right? We have one left.
Put them in the Sad Boys and be done with it. Here's the thing.
We can't play the song though. If you do that.
But at least we beat the A's in giving Oakland the slip. The glitz and glam Cowboys can't run in dry desert air. Mark Davis thinks the Super Bowl is what he uses to cut his hair. Silver and black, John Gruden came back. We'll be paying him until he dies.
All right, sad boy Raiders.
Now
Your hat is
suing the league-
backwards.
Now suing the league again.
Of course.
Because here's the thing. I believe there is a firm chance that the play on the field could be worthy of Jeff Fisher, which is a strange sentence no matter how you write it out. Like, they could be a Jeff Fisher team on the field, but this season is already a lost season because they're not going to go that far with Minshew or O'Connell, and neither one of those guys is going to be their starter next year. So you're already kind of pissing into the wind here. So
It's all house money.
I could, if I think hiring Pierce was the right guy, I'm disappointed they listened to Pierce when he was like, O'Connell's my guy. But I'm not that mad that they missed out on all those first round quarterbacks. Because there's only two of them who I think are good. And I think there's maybe one more who could be average. And I think the rest of them suck. So this season is already a lost season. So even if they play Jeff Fisher on the field, which I believe they could, and maybe even will, because I think their defense is suddenly pretty decent.
Yeah.
And they made their offensive line a little bit better, and they've got halfway decent wide receivers and all that stuff. But this is a lost year. It's ultimately meaningless.
I like the tight end they got. It was Bowers, right?
Bowers is great.
Yeah, I like him. I thought that was a good pick.
Was Bauer the right pick for the Raiders' needs?
No.
Does Bowers make the Raiders better immediately?
No.
But was Bowers the surest thing they had in front of him, and he kind of fell into their lap? And it's the first time in 20 years I've been able to point at a Raiders first-round pick and say that guy's going to be exciting to watch and be part of their offense from the first snap of the first game? Sure.
And had his name not be Sebastian Janikowski?
Yeah, and listen, I've been fooled before by Raiders can't miss draft picks. Looking at you, Michael Huff. and Robert Gallery, So, yeah, but like I said, it could be a Jeff Fisher product on the field, and I think it even will be, but I think it's ultimately a sad boy season because there's nothing, you're not going to get anything out of all this effort.
You did sign the defensive tackle who likes to fist people. That's kind of fun.
No.
They might have the best defensive line in football with that guy.
Right.
Let's fist them. That's a new fight call.
For the
Antonio
Raiders,
Pierce?
why not?
Maybe that's in the Dave Canales book. You think that's in like chapter 12 of the PDF?
Nothing
imagine that
closer
table
together than
with
fisting.
Yeah, how to not cheat on your wife? Chapter 12, fisting. What?
Right. Brings you
what?
closer together.
This took a
What did you
turn.
do here?
Jesus is okay with it if you lube it up. Okay. That means we still are missing an NFC team in the playoffs, right?
That's fine.
I don't want to reward bad behavior.
Right, that's fine. No,
Who's
you know,
By the way,
no.
whoever it is ain't going anywhere.
Yeah,
be
they're
sure.
gonna be one and done. For the record, just put the Commanders up there.
Yeah, right.
No.
Okay, I'll make sure to slide those up there. And the Browns still don't have an
We also
icon.
Don't
somehow,
have the Browns.
which is so funny to me. The Browns just don't have an icon.
Good.
Sorry, Browns.
Good.
You deserve it.
Just go into paint and just make a small swatch of orange and just dump it in there.
With the sad face because they're sad boys. Okay, that's our.
And
That's
I
our.
forgot one last thing.
Yes.
The Chargers have Lad McConkey.
That's
sure
true. Oh shit, McConkey.
Okay. What war is he in? Korean War. How old can we get?
The
Yeah,
last one America won.
yeah.
McConkey.
McConkey's a winner. He doesn't lose. God damn.
War veteran detective McConkey.
I want.
Jim McCarthy's going to have lots of time to watch McConkey on reruns.
Yeah.
I need like a theme
Wow.
song and a little this week on McConkey.
Oh my God, Mike! During the draft, when you did we did the McCarthy thing, I almost died.
The peanut butter controller. Oh my God. Oh, you know who didn't show up on this show at all? It's our guy Hackett. He never showed up.
He's busy. There's a lot going on in his life.
He's got to deal with Poochie and his move to Egypt.
And his life coach needs a life coach.
He still has the life coach, even though he's fired.
He can't even find the peanut butter controller.
Yeah, he would know what to do
I
with it
prefer
anyway.
board games, not video games. I told you.
For him.
Work your mind, not your thumbs. I told you that.
Okay. Segments. We're going to do the stripe spiral first.
Yes, we got a lot.
What? A lot has happened.
Yeah, what are we
Since
going to
the last-
dive into? Another
A
hour
lot
of
has
this shit?
happened. I'm gonna.
10
I have a
pages
bunch
of stripe spiral.
I have a bunch of notes jumbled in my head, and I'm going to go in no particular order.
All right,
things
give it
that
to us.
things that interest only me. This is the first time in 8 years that University of Texas San Antonio will be without quarterback Frank Walker.
Wow.
What?
At the end of last year, they had only had a team for 14 years. He had been their quarterback for 7 of them.
Wait,
my
was
God.
Larry Coker his coach at one point or no?
Yes.
No. Oh my
No,
god.
no, he missed Coker
Oh.
by a couple of years.
Holy
But he,
shit.
he has his 4 years of eligibility, and then I think he took 2 medical red shirts in his COVID year.
Oh my god. Brandon Weeden.
So here's the greatest stat that in the history of my adult
Yes.
life that I love. There are now, with the teams that have joined, there are 134 FBS Division I college football programs. There are 4 that accepted 0 players out of the transfer portal this offseason. Army,
Clemson?
Navy, Air Force, Clemson.
Oh my god, Clemson.
Which one of
Mighty
these
Apollo.
is not like the other one?
Yeah.
And I give Dabo some credit, right? Like, it's hard to stick by your principles. But he's also going to get, he's going to go 7-5 and get some Jimbo Fisher money within the
Right.
next 2 years.
This isn't how this
sticking by
fucking
his
game is being
principles.
played now. I mean,
You know,
I
and-
also
and-
think it's funny that the other 3 groups, you have to join the military to
right, you
transfer.
might die.
So Dabo is very upset, and he's very upset about this potential change to the walk-on rule and the limit on rosters and all that different shit. And at the same time, there's all these people who are calling Nick Saban a coward for kind of walking away from the game because, oh, by the way, remember, there's no Nick Saban this year.
Wow.
But I don't blame Nick Saban at all. What's he got left to prove? He woke up one morning and was like, you know what? The hell with this. This isn't what I used to coach. I'm done. He walked away. Dabo's trying to stick it out in a reality that doesn't align with his present reality. So, yeah, look for Clemson to go 8-4, 7-5 in the next couple of years because they refuse to participate in this burgeoning force among college football. And he's going to start making some Jimbo Fisher money, and they're going to hire, I don't know, the coach from Duke.
Duke University.
Duke University. And we live in a brave new world. Mark it on your calendar. Week 3 of the college football season. It's either week 3 or 4. Stanford plays at Syracuse in what is now a conference game.
Yes. Coast to coast flight.
Oh god.
As the SEC expanded and we enter this new reality, the SEC at least managed to kind of just bleed out from their existing geographical footprint, right? They were already in
right.
Louisiana and Arkansas, so it's not that hard to imagine that they bled over into Oklahoma and Missouri and Texas, right? The Big Ten just kind of said the hell with it and threw darts at the board and made it hell for all of their women's non-revenue sports to be able to travel. And then the ACC, who didn't want to be left out of the game, did the same thing. They went out and got SMU, which isn't that far of a hike from some of their schools, but then they went and grabbed Stanford and Cal while they were at it, the 2 teams that nobody wanted. No, I take that back. The 2 teams that nobody wanted were Washington State and Oregon State.
Who are still
Still
there.
nobody wants.
Yeah, right.
They are now in the reformed Tupac conference. Just a question of time till they meld with the Mountain West, which they've already got an agreement to play games
Yeah,
against each other.
There's no reason they shouldn't.
Yeah. And college football implemented a 2-minute warning this year, which I am heartily against because I hate the 2-minute warning. It's an antiquated custom. There's a beautiful game clock on the field that's perfectly good at keeping accurate time. But I understand why they did it. It has to do with the way they changed the timeout rules last year. So they changed it last year in order to make the games a little bit shorter so that the clock no longer stopped on a first down except under 2 minutes. So since you're already creating that rule change anyway, rather than have it happen arbitrarily in the middle of a drive, why not be able to stop, go to break, guarantee your TV revenue, and then come back and your new rules for the remainder of the game or the half are in effect. It makes sense from a logistics standpoint, but it's a pain in the ass because I hate the 2-minute warning. I hate the 2-minute warning at the NFL. I hate it everywhere.
I just assumed it was all revenue, like TV advertisement based, is the main decision on that one.
As I understand it, the way the rules are written, it's not an additional commercial break.
Okay.
So if there were, throw out a number, if there were 4 commercial breaks in the second quarter, there's still only 4. It's just that the 4th one is now the 2-minute warning break. So they didn't add any commercial time to it. If they did anything, they just guaranteed that break will happen. So there's a 2-minute warning this year. And what else? Oh, teams to look out for. Everybody is high on Mizzou. I am not that high on Mizzou.
They're ranked, I saw.
They are. They're ranked and they're ranked high. I am not that high on Mizzou only because, 1, you're Mizzou, and 2, you still play in the SEC West, which is tough. So you still got to get by. You still got to get by Bama. You still got to get by LSU. You still got to get by. And I don't know what their exact schedule is and who they play and who they don't. It's not with the expanded conferences. It's not the way it used to be. You don't play everybody in your division anymore. You only play them in certain years. And that's why a lot of people are high on Florida State, because Florida State dodges a lot of the big dogs this year in their own division. And the ACC sucks anyway. I mean, there are legitimate arguments to be made that SMU, who, by the way, joined the conference this year, could be in the ACC championship game and is maybe the second best team in the ACC. People high on Georgia Tech, which I admit, kind of sentimentally, I am also high on Georgia Tech. I don't, after the way they beat Miami last year and sank the crystal ball, who wouldn't be high on Georgia Tech?
Crystal ball!
And they just signed the number 37 prospect in the country.
Wow.
The highest prospect number they've ever signed at Georgia Tech, which either means they've given up on academics or the city of Atlanta is coming through with huge NIL deals, or the kid's going to be a physicist. I don't know which. Also, their coach is like a former O-line coach, so don't be shocked that they go get this big offensive tackle sort of out of their backyard and get him to sign. And who knows, in the transfer portal, he could end up somewhere else in 2 years or next year or whatever. So people high on Georgia Tech, people high on Mizzou. I'm not a big believer in Mizzou. I am curious to see what happens to Texas now that they play a full SEC schedule. Obviously, they very nearly made it to the championship game last year. But now they've got to go through the gauntlet, man. I understand the Big 12 is a power conference, but they are not what the SEC is. It's a different level of football. The SEC and the Big 10 are going to be on a plane, I think, all their own, even relative to everybody else. And, and with the teams remaining in the Big 12, Utah is kind of their default best team, or Oklahoma State. And those don't feel like teams that are ready to challenge by the way, the biggest story of the offseason that isn't related to Clemson, the expanded 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
Which I also kind of hate. I liked it at 4 because it meant when there were 4 teams and 5 power conferences, I liked that it left you that loophole where somebody who didn't deserve it, when I always go back to it, I forget what the year is. The year that Pitt was like a 3-loss ACC champion. They didn't deserve to go to the playoff. What I do like about the 12-team playoff is the top 4 seeds. What I like is twofold. 1, the top 4 seeds are reserved for the top 4 rated conference champions. It does not say top 4 rated power conference champions. So say Liberty is ranked 15th. So say Liberty finishes the season, 11-1, and they win their conference, they win CUSA, and, they're ranked 15th or 14th or whatever. If they're the 4th highest rated conference champion, because everybody else has got 3 losses or whatever, they would still get one of those top 4 seeds. So I like that the 4 seeds are reserved for the top rated conference champions, not the top 4 power conference champions. The other part that I love about the 12-team expanded playoff, even though it's not fair, and it has to do with those 4 seeds, is that it is impossible for Notre Dame to win one of those 4 seeds.
That's right. Yes.
Because they will never be a top-rated conference champion.
High as they go is 5. Yeah.
They cannot be higher than 5, which I love. Not that this forces them to join a conference. Again, they're not going to join a conference until NBC decides it's not worth it to pay them $35 million a year to air.
I don't think they'll ever going to do.
And Notre Dame's AD has been very clear. They would rather take $35 million a year from NBC and have their own vote in all of those commissioner meetings than take $40 million and be part of the ACC or part of the SEC and lose their autonomy.
Yep.
They still, but the price of that is you can't be a top 4 seed. You're going to have to play an extra game. So that's those are the fundamentals of the Stripes Bible for this iteration. Clemson sucks, 12-team playoff, 2-minute warning.
Give me a quarterback not named Quinn Ewers that we should be paying attention to.
Oh God. I mean, the obvious answer is Quinn Ewers, right? or Arch Manning.
Yeah, let's give me a
If something-
non-Texas
If something
quarterback.
happens to Quinn Ewers,
Right.
I still think hard to know what Alabama's going to look like with new coach, new offensive
Yeah,
system,
right.
this, that, or the other. I do think Milroe
Yeah.
has a phenomenal amount of physical talent.
Yep, I agree.
If he doesn't translate that at all, then he's Spencer Rattler. But if he does, if he can get his game focused, he could be a Jalen Hurts type
Sure.
at Oklahoma, like Oklahoma Jalen Hurts, even more than Bama Jalen Hurts. And don't sleep on I wouldn't sleep entirely on DJU. I know he's banged around a bunch of different teams, but I think he's kind of on a revenge tour this year. I love that Miami went and got the kid from UAlbany.
Yes,
I
right.
don't know if he's going to start for them,
Yep.
but good. And also, this is part of the reason people are high on Georgia Tech. Their quarterback is really effing good.
Mhm.
He's really good. What the hell is his name? Haynes. Don't sleep on him. Like, I understand Georgia Tech, all the other things, and I don't know if he has any pro future at all. But as a college quarterback, he can sling the thing. And now that he's got another year of starting experience under his belt, he could be very, very good for them in what is still, to my mind, the weakest of the Power Four conferences.
Mhm.
I think they're still weaker than the Big 12, even though the Big 12 is kind of all messed up now. Because like I said, like TCU is still a real program. Utah's still a real program. They got BYU, who's always a real program. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Like, there's a bunch of really good teams still in the Big 12, even if they're not the top dogs. The ACC, now that NC State had 35 seniors graduate or whatever the hell happened to them, like, you're
They're
left
still-
with
They're still ranked,
Florida
though, I
State.
saw.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You're left with Florida State, who's going to be really good, and then a whole bunch of question marks after that.
Mhm.
So I think Georgia Tech could do damage in a weak ACC.
Okay.
And Syracuse, people love Syracuse.
I love
I
Syracuse.
don't know if they're going to be any good. I don't know that they'll be good this year,
course
but I
they're
think
gonna be
next
great.
year they could make some noise.
Sure.
They have the Ohio State quarterback.
They do, yeah, and
They
that
have
kid,
a real
that
quarterback.
kid can ball.
We'll see what happens there.
So,
Wow, I'm so excited. It's very
It's gonna be-
soon.
it's gonna
It's
be
not
great.
that far away.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
2
we-
weeks.
week 0 is the 24th. First
Yeah.
games are on the 24th.
11
and then
days
week
away.
1 of the season is the starts.
I like week
31st.
0.
That's when you get the Ireland game. You get
Yes,
a bunch
I
of
know.
cool weirdo games.
Right,
And
yeah,
you get,
right. Like it.
you get the FCS kickoff and you get
Yeah.
the HBCU kickoff and all that stuff.
But you take what you can get.
Oh, and by the way, Shedeur Sanders is still playing quarterback at Colorado.
Yes,
Like,
that's true.
He's
Right.
pretty good.
He is.
You
He
know,
is good.
I think
The team around
luster,
him might not be good.
the
but-
luster on his star has faded somewhat. I think as they
Mm.
finish the season, getting punched in the mouth a bunch. But he's still pretty good.
he put up ridiculous numbers,
Yeah,
even though his team, like his defense, was just fucking
Awful.
Swiss cheese. They're horrible. I don't think they're going to be any better, honestly. But
Yeah.
he, I think, will be good. So
And I do. This could be an exaggeration. I think there is some possibility, depending on what happens this year with Ewers and some of the other quarterbacks and who the number 1 pick is. If Travis Hunter shows out the way he is capable of, we could see the first not
Yeah.
quarterback number 1 pick in a while.
he's a
Mm.
freak at both positions he plays.
Yes, he is.
So, yeah.
Very fun. Okay, are we doing a FUBAR? Did you say that?
I
already?
got no FUBAR. I got no FUBAR.
All right,
this week.
all
I got
right, yeah,
plain stuff, but I got no FUBAR. So.
All right. Okay. All right. Do we have a dip of the week?
Yeah. See your Shiziki dip is the
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
is it-
Perfect. No game balls because there's no games, but let's do some plugs. What's going on with Bloody Good Music?
Quickly, I would like to give a game ball to Stephen Curry, who totally saved all of our collective
Oh
assets.
my god.
Did he ever?
Okay.
And I've been a Stephen Curry hater for a long time. That dude's really effing good.
How could you hate that fourth quarter? Oh my god.
The dagger.
Anyway, you were asking a much more important question. Continue.
Bloody Good Music plug. What's going on over there?
Bloody Good Music. Chris just put together a review of the new Blues Pills album, which I think I like a little bit more than him, but he likes as well. And in the near future, I will have my review of the new Dampf album, which is their second one, which I hate, which is to say that I love it, and I hate how much I love it, because Dampf was a band put together on a dare when this like Norwegian no, what is he? Swedish? I don't forget what. Some Scandinavian country. He's like an electronic dance pop guy, and his buddy was like, "Bet you can't write a metal record." And he was like, "Oh yeah, hold my beer." And this is now his second record, and it is so embarrassing to the rest of my chosen genre that this dude can just roll in and write 2 amazing albums.
Wow.
Awesome.
On our other show, the TGIF podcast, we did the car crash episode, which is a long-standing one we've been waiting to do, where Stephanie drives the car through the house.
Not a shit Full House episode, which is rare for Full House. It was actually pretty good.
It wasn't bad, but begs the question: how could Joey afford that car?
Right.
That really nice red car.
It was a parting gift from Alanis Morissette.
Is that what it was? He got some in the divorce. They weren't married. Okay. All right. We're going to do that. We will be back. We're dipping our toe in the water here, but we'll be back. We usually do 2 preview episodes. So we'll, Cedar Tzatziki,
If you will.
we'll reload and we'll Tzatziki dip our way back into the season. And yeah, we'll have another one in a week or 2.
I appreciate how non-committal you were. That you're like, well, we'll be back in. Well, we'll be back.
We'll do this again.
We never talked about what our next episode is. All right.
Right,
So
right.
it'll probably be next week or the week after, but we'll be here. All right. We'll be around. All right. Peace out, everybody. See ya.